time?
Almost.
7:29.
Oh, good.
Okay.
You know. Here it is.
It just turned?
Yeah.
Yes.
Good evening and welcome to the Nutley Zoning Board of Adjustment meeting for January 12th, 2026. Please stand for the flag salute.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Would the secretary please take attendance and read the compliance with Open Public Meetings Act?
Robin LeBrie,
Excused.
Mark Colicchio,
Here.
Lorraine Castro,
Excused.
Trisha Darty, Yvette Wallace, Teresa Duba,
Oh, she's excused, sorry.
John Caffone,
Here.
Greg Tolby,
Here.
Daniel Tolby, Chairman Graziano,
Here.
Diana McGovern.
Here.
Pursuant to requirement of Section 13 of the Open Public Meetings Act, notice of this meeting was included on the annual notice of regular meetings for the year 2026. It was advertised in the Nutley Sun with a copy posted on the Township of Nutley Bulletin Board, first floor, 1 Kennedy Drive, Township of Nutley, New Jersey, with a copy sent to the Herald News, Star Ledger, and tapintonutley.net. A copy is filed in the office of the Township Clerk, and copies are made available to all persons requesting same. All persons addressed the Zoning Board of Adjustment regarding community concerns should approach the microphone and provide their name and address for the record. Unless further time is granted by the board, each person shall limit their address to 3 minutes. All remarks to the board and its individual members must be addressed to the chairman. The chairman may defer citizen comments to the appropriate member of the board. Dialogue between citizens and others addressing the board shall be allowed unless the chairman or presiding officer or the majority of the membership of the board shall determine that the interests of the decorum and or expeditious conduct of the board's business are being adversely affected by such dialogue.
Thank you. I'll just pull your address out. Please let us know that you're here. 140 Spats Avenue.
Yes.
34 Humbert Street. 380 Mount Vernon Street. And 3 Union Avenue. Okay. Okay, before we start tonight,
Yeah, we have to amend the agenda. It's our reorganizational meeting, so I'll start it off. So, do we have a nomination for chairman? Who was the second? Dan? Okay. All in favor? Aye. Any nays? No. Okay, Mr. Chairman, you can take this.
second. Okay, for vice chair, I'd like to nominate Daniel Tovey. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We need a nomination for secretary.
I'd like to nominate Patricia, secretary.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And we would like to, well, we have to appoint Diana McGovern as, well, we're gonna anyway. For attorney, we have a second.
I
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And for recording secretary, I'll nominate Paul Maranzino. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, that's taken care of. We're back in business.
Guessed right on the resolution, so if you
Oh,
want
it's
to
amazing.
sign off on that.
Oh, we gotta sign it still? Let me sign it and we'll get going. We'll go that way and come back. There you go. Okay. What is it? Okay. Well, we're not, oh, here we go. All right, first up tonight, 140 Spats Avenue.
Regarding the new single-family dwelling for 140 Spats Avenue, Block Lot 8502/12. Dear Mr. Bennett, your request for a construction permit on behalf of your client, Fernando Michelon, at the above referenced premises to build a new one-family dwelling as shown on the plans prepared by Dantas Karate Architecture dated March 22nd, 2024, and plans prepared by Terra Design LLC dated May 28th, 2024 is denied for the following reasons. This property is located in an R-1 district as shown on the Nutley zoning map. Chapter 700, Article 8, Section 700-46A, schedules of regulations as to bulk height and other requirements of the codes of Nutley requires the following in an R-1 zoning district. Lot depth required 100 feet, proposed 80 feet. Rear yard required 30 feet, proposed 15.6 feet. Lot coverage, including exterior stairway, required 35%, proposed 36%. Stories required 2.5 stories, proposed 3 stories. Chapter 700, Article 11, Section 700-67E3 of the Codes of Nutley states, decks and patios must meet the following minimum setbacks of Table 1. Required setbacks. Rear yard is 24 feet. Decks and patios, inches in height, 24 feet. Decks and patios greater than 30 inches in height, 13.1 feet. Chapter 700, Article 13, Section 700-91A1 of the Codes of Nutley states, the driveway shall consist of the area directly opposite to an attached garage, detached garage, or not more than 2 feet in front of the main dwelling when a 2-foot in-depth landscaped area is provided directly in front of the main dwelling or depressed garage or the extension of the side yard and into the front yard. The driveway width shall not exceed 16 feet in width for lots up to 50 feet in width. Lots having a width greater than 50 feet may have a driveway width of up to 18 feet in width when conforming to 700-48. However, if there is no garage and no available side yard, a driveway not to exceed 16 feet in width from the side lot line may be constructed. Required 18 feet, proposed 20 feet. I think that's the end of the letter.
Okay, thank you. Good evening.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. My name is Gary Bennett, Bennett. I'm appearing on behalf of the applicants this evening with regard to the property that's just been described. This property has a history to it, but the history has been some time ago. Back in 2014, the board heard an application to construct a one-family dwelling with substantially the same type variances being requested. At that point, the board affirmed after hearing the testimony, and I was not part of that application, so I speak from the resolution itself, but the board approved the application unanimously at that time. Unfortunately, based upon some financial factors and some personal factors, Mr. Michelon, the owner of the property, was unable to develop the property. He was getting close to a point where he was able to move forward. We got an intervention of COVID. We got an intervention of supply chains. We got a cost that increased dramatically in what he had looked at. As the smoke settled from all of the above, he now put himself in a position where he wanted to move forward to develop it. The property, as all the board members know, is on a dead-end street, and it's the only lot on that street that is without a dwelling on it. It sits out kind of as like a missing tooth in a smile when you go up the hill, but the hill is very steep and it creates some challenges, I'll say, with construction, but it's fully a developed street with houses on either side. As a result of that, I think when we look at the municipal land use law, this is exactly what it fits when you talk about the uniqueness of a piece of property, when you talk about topographic conditions that preclude it from being developed without some deviation. The other unique thing about the lot is that it's 78 feet wide, so it's dramatically wider than what would be permitted, and it's 80 feet deep. So you're dealing with a lot that has in excess of 1,000 feet beyond what your ordinance requires for development, but it's in a different configuration than you typically would have with a 50 by 100 foot lot. So it's an extra large lot on an angle sloped. And so Mr. Michelon went back to his architect who had worked with him on the last application, retained an engineer, and began to move forward to try and figure out what would be the best look of the house. Previously, there had been some concern, even though it was approved unanimously with regard to the type of roof and the slope of it. That was eliminated. And what you have before you in the plans that were just outlined by the two engineers and architects are the plans that he believes fit the best use of the property from his purpose, fits within the neighborhood. Again, you've got very large side yard on one side. It's just a very unique piece of property. But you'll notice that from a point of view of coverage and impervious coverage, the impervious coverage is dramatically below what's permitted. 70% is permitted. This is, I believe, 46. So you'll hear from those experts, the two experts that I'm going to have testify. And Mr. Michelon himself is here. No one labors under the impression that anything that took place in 2014 has any bearing, but it was an application that involves exactly what we're asking for here, and that is the least intensive use that any ordinance permits, which is a one-family dwelling, and specifically this zone. So we believe that what's proposed fits in. It will complete the neighborhood. It'll do so by leaving substantial side yards, the appropriate setback, and the deviation or request for variance for a rear yard is a product of the fact that the lot, instead of being deep, is wide rather than deep. And we've tried to maintain a front yard that provides for nice landscaping from a street view, will provide an accurate appearance and an aesthetic appearance for this property that is sat vacant now with taxes being paid on an annual basis for the last 14 years, 11 years, 11 years. So with those opening comments, I'd like to call first Mr. Manil. You want to just step up and be sworn? By the way, for the board secretary, I have the proof of publication and affidavit of service.
I'll take it. These are the originals?
Yes. They're including green cards and
Thank you.
term receipt. You guys.
I have to swear you in.
Oh, what I want that? I don't know. You can put it right over here, I guess. You have to turn it around and show people in the audience. That's where I'm at.
Oh, you have to swear.
Okay, would you raise your right hand, please? You swear the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay, would you state your full name and your address?
Sure. Legal name is Giovanni, Giovanni. Last name Manilio, Manilio, with Mantera Design, with an address of 62 Grove Street, Somerville, New Jersey.
And you'll be testifying as an architect,
As an engineer.
engineer,
Correct.
and your,
Mr. Manillo,
well, just 1 second, is your license in the state of New Jersey
Yes, I have a
in
license.
in good standing?
Yes, sir.
And you've testified before boards like this in the
Yes,
past?
I have. Over 60 boards throughout the
To be
state.
acceptable. Okay.
thank you, Mr. Chairman. John, if you would, the property you've heard me describe a little bit, the board obviously has your plans as well as the architectural plans. You would kind of just orient the board with regard to how this property sits on Spats Avenue and how it's intended to be developed from an engineering perspective, given the challenges of the lot.
Sure. So I do have one exhibit for tonight. I have handouts as well that I'd like to circulate.
You could mark those.
And it's entitled 140 Spats Avenue, site exhibit with today's date.
We
Please
need,
give them the
yeah,
board
give them to the board secretary. I'll have to mark one.
Yeah, I'll put the big one up.
A1.
A1. A1, and we're pulling this one?
Site exhibit.
Side.
Other than being a shrunken version of it, is it substantially or exactly the same as what you have in the board?
It's exactly what we have, except it's 11 by 17. Yeah, so I'll kind of walk you through what's existing on the site, and then we'll go through what's being proposed as part of the application.
Copies for everybody? Oh,
So property is known as 140 Spats Avenue, block 8502, lot 12, located in the R1 zone. The lot is approximately 78 feet or exactly 78 feet wide and 80 feet deep with a lot area of 6,240 square feet. The neighborhood is currently developed with single family dwellings. And the lot is currently vacant with the exception of a curb cut that remains from the previous house that was on the site. That dwelling was demolished sometime between 2014 and 2016. As stated earlier, the lot does have some severe grading as you look from, if you're looking at the site from Spats, from left to right, approximately 18-foot drop from the left property side to the right property side. I do want to note that the lot is existing non-conforming with the lot depth. So lots in this zone require a lot depth of 100 feet. This lot is 80 feet in depth. Now I'm going to refer to the site exhibit that I handed out, and that's on the easel A1. It's just a color rendition of what's being proposed, overlay on the aerial of the general vicinity. So what's being proposed is a new 2-story single-family dwelling with a 2-car garage that is located on the, I guess we'll call it the east side of the lot. So that is like I said, it's going to be a little under, so it's almost like in the cellar or basement level is where the garage would be. And then as the site grades up, there is a stairwell outside that gets to the first floor and to the porch. The driveway at the street is 12 feet wide, but then as it gets further in, it expands to 20 feet wide to accommodate for that 2-car garage further into the site. Additionally, in the back, we do have a deck as well. It's a modest deck. It's about 6.5 feet in depth from the house. So it goes from the house back 6.5 feet, and it goes from the main sliding doors for the main living space, and it extends to the west side of the lot. Other than that is really all that's being proposed on the site. I'll go over the relief that's being requested as part of this application. Obviously, the non-conforming lot depth is to remain. The 100 feet is required, and 80 feet is existing and to remain. Rear yard setback to the main structure itself, the setback is 15.6 feet, where 30 feet is required. I do want to note that a portion of that, so that when the architect comes up, he'll show you some elevations, and I believe he has a rendering as well. But there's an architectural element on that rear facade that projects from the main dwelling about 4 feet. So the actual face of the actual building wall is 19.6 feet. But the way that the ordinance reads, it's anything that's attached to the dwelling. So that overhang or architectural element is 15.6 feet, and that is what is being requested as part of the variance tonight. I think the site does have a hardship. We do have an undersized lot as far as lot depth, and then we have the severe grading that goes from left to right. So when designing a house on the site, you want to go deeper than wider because you do have a great drop that goes from left to right. And again, we lost space in that building envelope. So the building envelope is 25 feet from front to back on this site. On a conforming lot that's 100 feet deep, we would allow 45 feet for a building envelope. Additionally, we were asking for relief on the deck on the rear. So any deck that's over 30 inches above the ground has to be 24 feet from the rear property line. This deck is 13.1 feet from the rear property line. But to give you some perspective, so the deck on the west side, where it starts, is 30 inches or less than 30 inches from the ground. By the time you get to this side, because there is such a severe grade drop, that deck is about 6.5 feet above the ground. And hence that's the reason for the relief on this one. I believe we are over on lot coverage. The building itself and all the roofed areas is 35%. But I believe the way that it was read, that these exterior steps as well should be included in building coverage. Those are the steps that get you up to the level of the first floor. So that will bring you up to 36%. I also do want to note on the plans, I'm not sure how visible it is on the small plans, but the white box represents the building envelope. So you can see, what is allowed as far as the building itself. We do have a front porch as well, but that conforms with the zoning code. You're allowed a front porch that does not exceed 6 feet into the front yard setback. I believe we're 5.6 feet, so that is a conforming front porch as well. And that concludes my testimony. If there's any.
And despite the fact that that's okay, I think. Okay. I didn't know whether my voice was loud enough, but despite the constraints of the topography of the lots, the fact that the entire street is fully developed and this lot had formerly a house on it from an engineering perspective, it's fully developable. It just requires a little bit of a unique approach to it in order to accommodate, correct?
That's a correct statement. Yes.
Chairman, I have no further questions. Board has questions of Mr. Manilio?
Right back to the question, but why four bedroom of the three big houses?
That's better suited for the architect. I'm an outside guy.
Mr. Chairman, I have a couple of questions. The 2014 variance had replacement of the retaining walls as a condition. And upon visiting the site, it looked like these are probably the original retaining walls. So can you talk about why those were not replaced and what the considerations are in terms of the engineering and plans?
Yeah, so I think the consideration is when this does get developed, those walls will be replaced. At this point, it's a vacant site. So that's the reason that the walls have not been replaced yet. But yeah, though, I don't think we have an issue with the condition of the 2014 resolution.
And the other question I have is, will the HVAC be traditional AC heating, or will you be doing geothermal?
As far as I know, it's traditional, but I guess I could defer that to the architect as well. He would know better as far as what's being proposed.
Okay, because that will affect setbacks in terms of, which don't seem to be, the condensers don't seem to be indicated on the plans anywhere.
Okay. Are they permitted to be in the side yard?
Well,
The condensers, AC
I
condensers?
think, will that affect
Well,
the setbacks?
they adjusted that ordinance for the setback. You can put them in the side yard, but I don't remember the exact. I think you can have up to 3 feet, right?
Yes.
So,
Okay.
so, what were your side yard setbacks?
He's got plenty.
17 feet.
Yeah,
Yes.
you're all right. You'll be all right. Yeah, no, you can put them on the side yard. That,
And if you want, I could take a look while the architect is testifying and just verify that.
it's just
fine.
within 3, you can do 3, up to 3 feet. They changed it within the last year because we used to get a variance every month about somebody wanting to put their HVAC because we have 6-foot side yards that are allowed. And so they'd want to put them in, it wasn't big enough. And the board always pretty much granted them. So the commissioner changed the ordinance, so you can have 3 feet.
Okay. I think we'll be fine with it.
Of your deck in the back, you said on the left side, if I'm standing in space looking at the house, left side's 30 inches up,
A little less than 30, yes.
right side is 15 feet up.
Correct.
What would the variance issue there, the height of it?
The setback. So if the deck is more than 30 inches above the ground, then it has to be set back 24 feet. We're at 13.1 feet.
And how far does the deck stick out?
Above the ground?
No.
Oh, from the house, 6.5 feet. Correct. No, it's not a big deck.
Does the neighbor's property follow the same contour?
Does the neighbor's property behind us?
Behind you, that this deck will be facing?
No, they're not the same contour. I
Are
don't
they
believe.
higher? Or
I'll have to just give me 1 second. I don't know off the top of my head.
I think one of those pictures indicates.
it is higher.
Yeah, and
We're looking at pictures.
yeah,
We,
yeah, it's a little higher. I mean, it's higher. It does have that wall in the back as well.
And was any consideration given for storm drainage?
No, but we would definitely work with your professionals on providing drainage or any improvements that are required.
It's a steep hill, you're gonna get a lot of runoff.
So
There
yeah,
has been no house there, so the water is pretty much perking right there. Now it's gonna run off into the street.
yeah, we could direct all the leaders to the street to direct it away from any neighbors. Obviously, we will have soil erosion measures put in place, and we'll get soil erosion approval from Hudson Essex Passaic Soil Conservation. So all those measures will be put in place during construction.
okay, so you would agree to a condition that you'll work with the township engineer as to stormwater mitigation?
Yes.
Other questions? None from the board? Would anyone in the audience like to question the planner, engineer, whoever he is?
You have a question?
We have a question for the engineer.
It's just a question, not a comment.
Just a question for the engineer.
Yeah.
Come on up. You're gonna have to be sworn in. Okay, raise your right hand, please. Do you swear the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Okay, would you give us your full name, spell your last name, and give us your address as well?
Cynthia Norman, 71 Grandview Drive in Bloomingburg, New York. My parents own the house behind,
Okay.
142 Spatz Avenue, Salvatore and Dia.
And this is
Scarpa.
next to him, behind, what is this, next door?
Next door, yeah,
Okay.
Up the hill or down the hill?
up the hill. The one with the wall.
What's your question?
Those are concerns about that we have a bay window on that side of the house. Where exactly that house will be located and the deck that they're proposing on the back of the house. If that's going to obstruct the view from that side of the house.
Are you
Our New York
down the hill? Are
skyline.
you down the hill or up the hill?
We're up the hill.
Mm-hmm.
Whether the house is forward or it's back. And then also our concern is with the wall.
Okay, he's going to show you. He's going to answer that question and he's
Yeah.
going to demonstrate on a picture.
Mhm.
You want to step right?
Yeah, so if you could look on Exhibit A1, you can see that the dwelling that's, I guess, to the west of us. Sure. You can see the end of the house kind of ends at the beginning of, I guess, your parents' house. So yeah, I don't believe that's going to obstruct any views. This one right here, right?
Do you know where that bay window is?
I do not know where the bay window is.
And I see it on these proposed plans here.
Right. So I believe, if remember, the surveyor did pick up the front of the house is about 53 and a half feet from the property line. That's your parents' house. And we're 25 and the house is 35 feet deep. So we're at about 60 feet. So the house only projects maybe 5 to 6 feet past the front of your parents' house. So I don't know how close that bay window is to the corner.
So you're saying, so this is not the house, right? Here is the house. This is the house.
That is the house, correct.
Spacing difference.
And this is the deck.
Mhm. Well,
And where is that on this set? Because this looks
Yeah, they do.
like it's going
I
right.
can see it.
This is the bay window.
Okay, you have to do it so the board can hear you all discussing.
Sure. So I'm just going to go to the first page of the plans. I think that's what she's referring to.
Are you concerned about your view of the city? Is that what it is?
Yeah. So you can see here. So if you so if you want me to show you right here. So the deck ends before the bay window. So if you draw a line from the bay window across,
Yeah.
the deck ends before that. So there should be no issues with that.
So this is the house here.
That's the beginning of the house. That's the bay window shown.
And this is, so you're into this house. Okay.
Correct, but not the
I
bay
thought
window.
The house was back further. So if you could back a little further.
Well, your house is already back a lot further, isn't it?
Ours is.
Okay, I took pictures and I think this is your house. Let me just ask you. Is this your mom's house?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, all right, we're gonna mark this as. Board one, pictures. You can see this is what she's talking about.
Correct. So the house itself does not block the bay window. The deck itself also does not project past the bay window. And if I remember correctly, that your parents' property is actually elevated higher than our property. Right.
About 3 feet from the bay window to the dirt. And then, where's this?
Right. So I'm showing the elevation of the deck at 169 The elevation at the bottom of the bay window is 171.5, so approximately 2.5 feet above the deck. And then your bay window is, like you said, another 3 feet. So you're 5.5 feet above the deck with the window.
So you'll be looking over the deck
Correct.
and you'll also be to the side of it, so. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay.
Over it 5 feet and it will be off.
When you're inside the house, you'll be approximately 5 feet or so to the bottom, right? To the bottom of the window, so.
So it should be 5 feet above
The
the
deck.
deck.
Mhm.
So your parents' bay window will be 5 feet above the deck. Is that correct?
That is
If you're
correct.
standing in the window, you'll be
Okay.
significantly higher.
The land is at 3 feet and then they're gonna be down
Another 2.5 feet
Yeah, because of the drop.
to the deck. Yes,
and back.
correct. So if I draw a straight line across, we're probably, if I had to guess, 4 to 5 feet behind the deck. I mean, behind the bay window.
The condition
And,
that the
and we
deck's
were concerned about that
in.
wall that
Well,
Was
how
the-
are you gonna,
gonna be replaced by,
you wanna lower
Mm-hmm.
so we don't have any
they can lower
problems
the
with our
deck,
house being exposed.
lower the deck a foot.
Our property.
Yeah, and I think we stated that we would comply with that
30 inches.
requirement from 2014.
That would go all the way back, this, because there's a wall here on this side that's probably only 3 feet, right? And then it gets deeper in the back.
Either that or it'll be graded out, so it's stable.
Between the other neighbor's property.
Correct.
So we've decided and we've determined that the deck will not protrude into the line of sight of the bay window. And the bay window will be a lot higher by at least 3 feet from the height of the deck. Top of the deck to the bottom of the window is 3 feet difference.
So from the ground at the bay window to the deck is 2.5 feet. I'm taking her word that it's another 3 feet to the window itself from the ground. So
So yeah.
Yeah.
Are you satisfied with those answers?
Yes.
Thank you.
thank you.
Anyone else with questions? You have a question for the engineer? Come on up. You raise your right hand, please. You swear the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Yes, sir.
Give us your full name, spell your last name, and give us your address.
I'm Raymond Guzman. I'm Guzman, Raymond, Raymond. I just bought
Where-
139 Margaret Avenue.
139 Margaret. Okay,
Okay.
is that behind him?
Yes. I guess my concern is the deck. Is it leveled off with my backyard, I guess?
Is the deck
Or is it higher?
immediately behind him?
But we said that it was lower. Your property's higher.
Is it? I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't know if I have enough information it appears it's a little higher. I mean, I'm just looking at the survey. The survey has it about a foot higher. But I don't know. I don't have enough information to see what the rest of the property does.
This is just rear. This is the rear.
Yeah, no, and then it does. Yes, I'm sorry. There's another shot here of this other wall where it's 5 feet higher on the one corner. So yeah, it is higher.
Okay, so we don't have any,
It'd be your property's a little lower than the deck. So the deck is supposed to be at 169. It looks like on it's hard to show at the middle of the back of your property. The elevation is 167, so it's about 2 feet lower than the deck. And then on this side, it's about 5 feet lower than the deck.
B1 pictures is the neighbor.
Hmm.
And so it's on top of a retaining wall.
Correct.
Board members on this side.
and do you have a deck on the back of your house? So do you think the deck will be even with the back of his, lawn?
So let me just see if I can explain this. So on this corner of Mr. Guzman's property, it's about 172. Our deck is 169. So at this corner, your property is 3 feet higher. But by the time you get to this property, his property drops as well. It is about 4.5 feet lower than the deck. So like I said, both of our properties drop, but the deck itself on our property stays level.
The picture, in this picture.
Right?
Where's the retaining wall that's on this property?
It looks like it straddles both properties.
And can you point it out to the board?
Sure.
Because they've gone to the property, they've got the pictures to refresh their memory.
Yeah, so the wall actually starts over here on the side property, and then turns, and then it keeps going along the whole property. And then I believe it turns again and goes, I'm not sure how far it goes. The survey didn't pick it up, but it does turn onto your property at one point.
So it straddles Mr. Guzman's property.
Yes.
It looks like it's more on your side than his.
The beginning portion is, and then at the end, once you get to here, it looks like it's more on.
Okay. So,
And also, is that the same identical retaining wall that with the variance was given in 2014?
That I don't know.
yeah, that's the question with the
Yeah.
condition that was previously entered. If we're gonna continue conditions, if that's what the board's inclination is,
Mhm.
and it's straddling properties and you've taken that on as your obligation, you're okay with that? You consent with it? I mean, you're going to consent to somebody doing it, of course. But I'm asking the attorney, are you consenting to that condition being
To replace that wall, like,
Place the walls.
to replace it completely?
that I believe Chairman referenced that may have been a condition in 2014, if that was a condition then. And I think one of the board members raised a question or the board attorney. So yes, if that's a condition of the board, my client will comply.
Okay.
Does that satisfy you?
Yeah, that's.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else? When you do replace it, you would have to stay on his own property.
Correct.
And that's gonna require you probably filling in some property or some stuff for the neighbor,
Correct.
Apparently, Mr. Chairman, that wall's leaning a little bit over the years.
I'm sure.
So it's a little hard to tell exactly where it started and where it is today.
Well, you'll find out when you get to the footing. All right, that's all the questions we have. Thank you.
Follow.
Next architect.
My next witness would be Paulo Dantas, who is the architect who submitted the plans that we have before you.
All right,
And I just asked that he be sworn in.
certainly. You raise your right hand, please. You swear the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
I do.
Please give us your full name, spell your last name, and give us your address.
Sure. My name is Paulo Dantas. First name is Paulo, Paulo. Last name Dantas, Dantas. Address is 427 Chestnut Avenue, Suite 302, Union, New Jersey.
And your license is?
Yes. So graduated with a bachelor's in architecture from the New Jersey Institute of Technology in 2002. I apologize. I've been licensed since 2007, testified in various boards, and license is up to date.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman. Paulo, if you would, you were retained by Mr. Michelon to aid him with trying to design a house that not only fit this property, but that fit today's designs architecturally and desires for a home with what's internal in the property and how it was to be laid out. That's correct, right?
That's correct.
So you visited the site, you looked at the property, you looked at the engineering plans to get the design because of the slope in the roadway
Yes.
and so forth. And what you submitted to the board is what you, based upon your discussion with your client, believe is the appropriate use for this property by way of the size and shape and configuration of the home.
That's agreeable.
And then once you get inside the home, obviously, Mr. Michelon has indicated certain things that he wanted within the home that you've tried to incorporate, correct?
That's correct.
So if you would, using your plans and referring to the page numbers that you're referring to either in the upper or lower corner, wherever they may appear.
Sure.
If you would just reference it to make sure the board knows which page you're referring to and just kind of walk us through your plan.
Sure. Thank you. So we're proposing a new single-family dwelling with a building footprint of 1,800 square feet. We're also looking for a livable floor area of approximately 3,500 square feet and a garage of 761 square feet. Currently, the property is vacant. What we're looking to propose on sheet A100 is a finished basement. We're providing a mechanical room. We'll be putting the water heater, furnace, and the sump pumps to provide heat, cooling throughout the whole first and basement. Additionally, we are also providing a full bathroom and an interior stair accessing the first floor, and also being able with a door to access a two-car garage. All of this foundation will be slab on grade, and we'll have a masonry foundation throughout the perimeter. Architectural sheet 8101, which is indicated as our first and second floor. We're proposing one main entrance facing Spass Avenue. The first floor layout is consistent with an open plan concept to include eating, dining, kitchen, and family room. We're proposing to have a floor to ceiling height of feet. Within the family room, we're proposing also a prefabricated fireplace. The kitchen will have an L shape adjacent to the eating area. And then obviously we'll be providing some sliding doors to access the deck. Additionally, we have provided a half bathroom. The interior access there is continuous from below, and also will give it accessibility to the second floor. We are proposing a bedroom office. I just want to consider that we did put closets, but we do not have a full bathroom within that floor. It's more, I would say, it's more for a guest type of condition versus a permanent bedroom. On our second floor, we have a livable area of 1,712 square feet. Within here, we have four bedrooms and two bathrooms. The primary bedroom has a primary suite of a bathroom and also walk-in closet. We also adapted the second floor to have the laundry room. And then we have one hallway bathroom, which will accommodate the rest of the three bedrooms there. We will be having a drop-down ladder, if possible, just to access the unit on top, if feasible. And that's where we're going to locate our mechanical systems. Or elevations, if I may, I'm just going to go to sheet 103. This one is exactly what we submitted to the board. The only difference is we have a color rendition of it. Because the board, we couldn't print it out in color. And so what we did here is we tried to use the total building height, and I'm going to say the total building height from the driveway all the way to the top is 31.92 feet. The architectural characteristics and materials selected is by the owner's design and requests. Some of the materials that we're proposing are going to be some vertical paneling, metal paneling, as well as horizontal. Some horizontal wood paneling, stucco, and stone veneer. We will be having a low pitch roof, a 1-on-12, and we're looking to provide a modern design. But with that, we also want to break some horizontal and vertical depths, breaking the facade, deteriorating from the monolithic look. The building also has been designed horizontally, from some front entrance canopies and garage canopy, and some wood accents to break down the paneling and give it a little bit more worth to the more aesthetic, pleasing facade.
What are the parapets? What are they designed there for?
They're just designed so we could have at least a consistency on the side, so it could look a little bit more squarish. And then we decided to just slope the back to gather the water.
Do those parapets add to the height? Does that help?
No, it does not. Because the height is being taken from the front.
You're talking the thing that's.
Please.
Yeah.
So are we putting HVAC up there? Is that what you said or not?
We're trying to put it there, but if not, then we'll just put it in the second floor unit. I mean, second floor, in one of the rooms.
One of the rooms.
Yes.
What's the overall height
Oh,
So I'm taking the height from the garage level, let's say, or the asphalt, all the way to the top, and on the higher portion, 31.92.
yeah, I talked to Dave Ferry today. He sent me an email because apparently you had some back and forth with the code official. Because I was confused as to the front of these plans. This is the email from Mr. Berry, our code official. This addresses my comment on height, which he makes the comment in the letter of denial. It doesn't address, he says, he cites the ordinance 700-3, any story having its finished floor surface entirely above grade, except that a basement shall be considered as a story above grade where the finished surface of the floor above the basement is more than 6 feet above the ground level for more than 50% of the total building perimeter. He wrote to me and he said, since receiving that email, I have not received any revised plans or additional submissions regarding that issue. And you had indicated to him in an email on November 14th, I had a chance to review our building height calculation and noticed that we had calculated it incorrectly. However, the height is still under the allowed 30 feet. We had calculated the building height from the proposed finished grade along the front wall to the top of parapet. Per your email and ordinance, it would be measured from the natural average grade to highest point above roof beams adjacent to the street wall for flat roofs. And then you indicate natural average grade equals 162.08, finished floor equals 169.56, highest point of roof beams as measured from the finished floor equals 22 feet, 4 3/8 inches, or 22.36 feet. 169.56 feet finished floor plus 22.36 feet height of highest roof beam, minus 162.06 feet, natural average grade equals 29.86 feet. So you squeak in there under the 30 feet. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. Okay.
So that's engineering writing all those technical
Yeah, I
details.
got it.
But to answer the question about the basement third floor, so I did do that calculation. I don't think that was a question, but if that was, so there's two definitions. There's a definition of a story above grade, which says that 6 feet or more of the floor, and can't be more than, I believe, 50%, and we're at 42.8%.
Yeah. So he cites them not for height variance because it made it in under the wire, but they are cited for how many stories they have because you're allowed 2.5 and they have 3 based upon this topography with the way this worked out because you can walk out from this basement.
So we don't have that calculation on the plan. So what I'm saying is I did do the calculation and I don't believe that's a story. I think it's considered a cellar.
He cites it in
If it's
the letter of denial.
Yeah, because it's more than half of it, 50% of it.
Right. But we're at 43.5%, is what I calculated.
That is exposed.
That is exposed. So I could provide that calculation to the zoning official.
That would be.
Okay, well, I'm going to say this, if you're going to challenge the zoning officer's decision and his calculation and his opinion, the board can consider that as, an interpretation. However, when we do that, we always invite the code official to explain that. So I don't know that you want to
So then we will ask.
obey that state or just continue with
3 stories. Yes.
3-story variance. Okay.
I think that's fair. We're asking for the relief, but with the consideration that we have reviewed this.
Understand
Yep.
that you have that argument, but you're not going to
Yep.
press it.
Got it.
Okay.
Also, I have a question. Oh,
Sorry, just like a technical question. So moving on, you have 9 foot on the first floor, you have 9 foot on the second floor. Correct?
That's correct.
Okay, so on that second floor, you have 2 bathrooms up there, a washroom,
A laundry room.
a laundry room.
So 2 bathrooms and a laundry room.
So you have to take some kind of structural consideration for the weight of tubs because you have, if I'm not mistaken, you said you have an open concept downstairs.
Yeah, well, we always accommodate for that. Yeah, no.
It's an open concept. Okay.
No, it's an
So I'm
open
just wondering if that is gonna consider, you're gonna have to take the consideration like those.
in regard,
And if you do, does it And does it, are you going to grow that height?
So what happens with these things is I don't put structural calculations, but you could see there's a wall dividing and then we have 17 feet. So it's achievable.
But you're not, you need a 9.5 feet.
No. I'm very confident that we'll be within that marker. Yes.
Make a note.
Yeah, that'll be fine.
No, shit, will be okay.
You have the flat roof there. So the flat roof is pitching from back to front.
From front to back.
So from front to back.
So it's the highest point is the front, lowest point the back.
So maybe 2 inch difference, whatever that is.
It's 1 on 12.
And then you have the two.
It's not giving me on my drawings, but give me 1 second.
There's
It's about 2 to 3 feet.
33 inches. Yeah. 30.
Yeah, about 3 feet. I'll say 3 feet for now as the pitch from front to back.
3 feet front to back and you have those power pits on both sides. Where's the water go from there?
Then we're gonna go into a gutter system, and then I believe our engineer suggested that we're gonna work with the town. Yeah, and I think we'll achieve that. That's not a problem.
Make sure you're not putting a residential gutter on that and then having a thing overflow.
No. I'll be honest with you. I do my calculations on the gutter sizes.
Okay.
And then if it looks too big, we usually hide it. You know what I mean? Like
Okay.
we conceal it.
You've already agreed to a condition that you'll work with the township engineer as to
Right.
stormwater management, so.
Including gutter.
Including gutter size.
Gutter and-
Yeah, and leaders.
Okay.
I would say that. Yeah.
Once I saw those power pits, I know it's a flat roof, I'm wondering where that was.
Yep.
Because that's a big rush of water.
That's fine.
Yeah, because you had,
Okay.
that's a condition.
Referencing back to, the number of stories and, you were calling the lowest level of, a basement or a cellar. Is that going to be conditioned space?
It's going to be conditioned.
Okay, so it's not technically, a utility basement then?
It's more of like a rec room.
Okay. So would that be, part of the considerations for number of stories?
It is. That's what the,
Yes.
that's what the
No,
code
the
official
number of
counted.
stories is calculated according to the height above grade
Mhm.
and where it starts and where it ends at. 50%, they're saying it's 43 now.
But
So-
they're counting that level, aren't they, as one of the stories? The first level.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, that's, yeah.
3 stories?
I'm not counting it as a 3-story.
You're not, but the code official.
Oh, the code official. Yes. Okay, it's fair enough.
But if he takes away that 50%,
Hmm.
it would then go down to a
Mhm.
2-story.
Yeah, okay.
So that's something they're gonna work.
Based on the description, we would just,
If they do the recalculations
Mhm.
later, but I don't think.
And then going back to the placement of the HVAC units, if it's going on the flat roof, you said there was a possibility.
So we have to see if we have enough clearance in order to put these units. If they're not going to be put there, then what we usually do, we put them within the floor area where the laundry room is areas like that. I think we do too, but I just got to see.
Mhm. But I guess my question is, if for some reason it needed to go on the top of the roof, what would the height of the unit
You're
be?
talking about the top? No, I would not put it on top. Mm-mm.
Okay.
So it's more like the furnace or the air handler would be within the attic portion
Okay.
of that flat area.
Not directly.
And then
under-
exactly, and then we talked about the condensing units, just putting it on the side of the side yard.
I noticed you've got a in the basement, you have a bathroom.
Yes, I do.
So we're gonna make a condition that you may not pull a kitchen in the basement
That's fine.
and it cannot be used as a living unit.
That's fine, and that's our testimony today. That is not for bedrooms or any type of separation.
Five bedrooms in this house.
So I want to call it 4 as per who's going to live there, and then 5 for the guest office.
So-
But it's more
so
for-
Building this house are gonna live there and they need 4 bedrooms.
Yes.
All right, so if you have a bedroom office, I'm wondering why you need the closets.
I asked the same thing, but I guess we just left it. I think it's more just to put whatever they're gonna put in within the shelves. But it does give an indication almost being a bedroom. That's why we just wrote it in.
Now you're gonna get taxed.
I know.
I just want to clarify one issue if I could, Mr. Chairman.
You think you have a microphone, please?
Yeah, on this, the height and the number of floors, I know that got a little confusing. So my proposal was, or to clarify it, if in fact it's determined that the official was correct, that this is technically 3-story, then we would be asking for that relief. In the event that he agrees with our engineer that it in fact isn't a 3-story, then we wouldn't need that relief. But if we do, we're asking for
But
it.
if we give the relief here tonight, it's a move.
Yes. And if we can comply below that relief, I just want to make sure that was clear.
He didn't back down on his assessment that it was 3 stories. So right now we're going with,
Well, because he hasn't gotten anything back from them,
Right.
and they're saying it's 43%, we're talking a difference of
yeah,
7%.
but I think what the attorney is suggesting is that if they give Mr. Berry the information and he changes his mind and says, oh, they don't need it,
Yeah.
you still have the variance for that.
It's not gonna change the house. Nothing's changing in the house. So whatever the interpretation is, if it stands as 3 stories, then we would just ask for that relief with the explanation that we've provided.
Okay.
Okay,
So in looking at this house, I look at it as almost fitting as a corner lot. The way you've got everything on the side, you usually don't have a big backyard on a corner lot. I mean, that's what I'm looking at. You agree or?
Based on the shape of it. And also the way the topography kind of descends.
Right, but a longer lot, less room in the back.
Yeah.
Corner lot like that.
So it feels more like the backyard would be on the side.
Right. Which is gonna be won't be a problem for fencing. Okay.
I just need some clarification if that's okay. You mentioned that on the first floor, you're going to have a prefab fireplace. Now is that like an electric fireplace? or
No, just gas.
Gas, and so it's a direct vent?
Direct vent.
It's not gonna have a chimney, it's gonna be a direct vent?
That's correct.
Okay. And then the next question I have regarding the recreation area on the lower level, that's going to be a walkout. So the entrance will be from the garage into the recreation area. And the walkout, since it's partially walked out because of the way the sloping is, are those going to be sliding doors or a regular?
So on the basement, we have no sliding doors or anything. The only
From the front?
the one in the front, we left it open where you could put, the garbage cans and all these things. Is that the one you're talking about? Where it says storage?
No walkout
That's-
in the basement.
No.
There's no walkout. Okay, that.
No, so the only access really is from the first floor, let's say. Or if you're coming from the garage, then you just have access, in the back.
Okay, that's just a clarification.
Yeah.
On that. And then on the second floor, do you have, the attic space, do you have the dimensions, like, so maybe you can stand up in the middle, but not the end, so it won't be able to.
It's too flat to even stand up. We're discussing just having the unit
unit.
laying down, and that may be even be difficult.
Okay, thank you. Wanted that.
No,
No windows. either.
no window. I wanted to make sure that we're in the ground.
All right, those satisfied my
Any other
questions.
questions here?
Mr. Chairman, I actually do have a question. Given that the variances that were granted in 2014, which looked at a specific footprint that seemed to be appropriate at the time for the property, the proposed plans are substantially larger in terms of footprint and also cubic feet in the house. So respectfully, I'd like your interpretation as to how this is not a self-created hardship by proposing residence that was much larger than the one that was originally considered.
Yeah, I don't believe it was much larger, but I can tell you this. The variances were granted in 2014, and again, I was not part of that. But the fact of the matter is there was a 20-foot setback. So there was a granting of a 5-foot variance for the front. Instead of being set back 25 feet, the 2014 provided for a 20-foot setback. What that created was a variance then for that front porch because it has to be no more than 6 feet projected in. At that point, we only had 14.2 feet, or they only had in 2014. So you granted a variance at that time for it. The only difference now is that it's been pushed back 5 feet. So now that variance is eliminated and the variance in the rear comes into play because we lost 5 feet by pushing it back. With regard to the size of the house, I think if you look at the impervious coverage, we're at 46% instead of 70. We meet the left side yard, dramatically exceed almost by 3 times the right side yard, have the front setback in place, have the height, we believe, other than the story issue. And the house itself, the footprint is not dramatically larger. And I believe the resolution provided that it was somewhere around 3,000 square feet. This, I believe the testimony was it was somewhere around 3,400 to 3,500 square feet. All that is really a product of expanding a little bit on the first floor. And you correct me if I'm wrong.
It's more of, there were volumes on the first floor of like cathedral ceilings and all of those. I don't think the footprint changed mostly. I think it was those cathedral and open rooms that we kind of occupied to accommodate the master, the closets and things like that.
So that led to approximately 500 more square feet.
Yeah, and then we also didn't have the office on the first floor. I think that's one of the biggest things that everybody requests these days. That everyone has a home office, people working from home these days. So that was a little bit of a trigger on the modification of the layout.
But the fact of the matter is the lot's over 6,200 square feet and this house is 3,500 square foot house.
FAR.
Right.
But it's only 1,800 on the footprint.
On the footprint.
We don't have an FAR here.
I'm just explaining livable area.
And with regard to the neighborhood itself, there's other fairly large homes that are on the site, mixed bag, some smaller, some the same size.
For a firm, it's a standard between 29 to 3,500, like these typical homes.
For a one family dwelling.
For a one family.
But it clearly fits very easily on this lot.
I feel it's properly done, but that's just my opinion.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Okay, nobody else on the board? Any questions from anyone in the audience for the architect? Come on up. Okay, just, I'll need you to state your name again. You're still on the road.
It's Raymond Guzman, and I'm at 139 Margaret Avenue. I guess just in regards to the height of the house, again, in plain terms, is it going to be towering everybody else's house around there, or?
I think so. I think that the right side, I think we're pretty conformative, and that's the lowest part within what's for zoning's requirement, and then the left side obviously really dug in.
And the back?
The back kind of mimics what the front is taking place. So the back, you'll see everything kind of dug in on the left side, and then it gets exposed on the right.
Because our concern, and I don't want to speak for everyone else, but our concern is sunlight. We get a lot of sunlight from that area. So if you're towering over all of us, okay. I just wanted to make sure, sir.
Thank you. Anyone else in the audience? What kind of roof are we putting on this?
Metal, standing seam metal.
On a flat roof? Anybody else?
There's nothing underneath the standing seam, it's gonna be standing seam only, just curious.
No, I'm gonna put a little bit of insulation, rigid insulation, about 3 inches or so. Just to shield the water. and all.
Allow when it rains and hangs.
Exactly, and then below then we're either gonna fiberglass or
Oh,
foam it. So we're gonna have the proper insulation, it's just, I gotta dim that sound first.
Okay. Next.
That's all the witnesses we have, Mr. Chairman. I don't know whether there was any other members of the public.
Well, let me ask you if anybody in the audience has any comments that would like to be heard with regard to this application. Being none, can I have a motion, please?
Need a summary of the conditions, somebody?
I couldn't do, but I have some, did you help me add them if anything?
Well, I'll go through. We have a condition that they will replace the retaining walls.
Yes.
Condition that they will work with the township engineers to stormwater mitigation, including gutter and leader sizes.
Yes.
They will, I've got it twice that they're replacing the retaining wall. No kitchen or use of the basement area as a separate living unit.
Yes.
The deck not projecting into the big window.
We
And I
didn't do
have
that. We
the
never mentioned.
non-obstruction of the bay window.
Well, we didn't do that as a condition.
Okay, so-
The testimony established that it would not block it. And I think that was it. So we had 4 conditions. One, yeah.
All right.
Okay.
that's what Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to approve the variance for the new build at 140 Spats Avenue, Block 8502, Lot 12. The hardship of this property is that it is an undersized and sloped lot. Although it's non-conforming, it will have a substantial side yard. The design has been thoughtfully designed and it appears that it will be an aesthetic improvement. With this granting, there are conditions. The first condition is that the retaining walls will need to be replaced. Also, they will agree to work with the town for storm water mitigation, to include gutter and any other conditions set forth by code enforcement. Also that they cannot install a kitchen in the basement and it is not to be used as a separate living unit. Also, are there any conditions from the original 2014 that need to continue on?
Just the walls was part of it, and the only thing we're gonna add to that is that when you do the walls, you'll take care of the neighbor's property as well. As far as refurbishing what was disturbed. No. No, because by us giving them the variance tonight, if it passed,
Doesn't matter.
there will be no need for them to even mention that they'll have the height variance.
You need a second. You need a second.
It doesn't matter, yeah.
For these reasons and any others that are set forth by council?
Good. All right, would the secretary please call the board?
Mark Colicchio,
Yes.
David Gardy,
No.
Ed Wallace,
Yes.
John Cafone,
Yes.
Craig Tolby,
Yes.
Daniel Tolby,
Yes.
Chairman Graziano.
Yes. Okay, you're. all right,
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Lots of luck. You want these plans?
You sure you don't need them? What?
Evidence. Oh, no, I have them. Never mind.
Okay. Can we clear the room and take your comments outside, please? Because we're gonna start another one. 34 Humbert Street. We need to read the letter.
Yeah, we did read it, Liz.
Okay.
This is a new application.
Your new application, okay, so we'll need to read the letter of denial.
Thank you, sir.
So the letter of denial was actually in the other one. Find the letter.
It's the fourth condition. The third, fourth.
What else can we look at? There it is.
It's the.
You have the letter of denial?
You need the letter of denial?
No, I have.
Oh,
Regarding the townhouse residential development for 34 Humbert Street, block lot 6702/10. Dear Mr. Cravino, your request for a permit on behalf of your client, Keaton Jarge, at the above referenced premises to construct a townhouse residential development consisting of 4 dwelling units, site development including parking, landscaping, trash enclosure, draining, and lighting, etc., located in an R-2 zoning district as shown on the plans prepared by architect Salvador Cravino, architect and planner LLC, dated October 10th, 2024, and Omland and Osterkorn Consulting Engineering and Surveyors, dated May 1st, 2025, is denied for the following reasons. This property is located in an R-2 district as shown on the Nutley zoning map, Chapter 700, Article 8, Section 700-7A of the Codes of Nutley states, no building shall hereafter be erected, and no existing building shall be moved, altered, added to, or enlarged, nor shall any land or building be used, designed, or arranged to be used for any purpose other than is included among the uses listed in this article as permitted in the district in which such building or land is located, nor in any manner contrary to any of the requirements specified in this article. Chapter 700, Article 5, Section 700-12 of the Codes of Nutley states, the following uses are permitted in the R-2 zoning district, uses and buildings permitted in the R-1 district, except home occupation and professions, see 700-12C, as prescribed, 2 family dwellings not to exceed 1 building or structure on each lot, and home occupation and professions. Category A townhouse residential development is not a listed permitted use. Townhouses are a permitted use in an R-3 zoning district. Chapter 700, Article 8, Section 700-46A, the schedule of regulations of the Codes of Nutley requires the following in the R-2 zoning district. We don't need to do the checklist, do we?
No, thank you.
Let's see. No, there's a few more
That's the
articles.
thing on the second page, yeah.
Chapter 700, Article 3, Section 700-3 of the Codes of Nutley states, the definition of a parking space is an off-street space available for the parking of one motor vehicle and having minimum dimensions of 9 feet in width and 18 feet in length, exclusive of passageways and driveways appurtenant thereto, giving access thereto, and having direct usable access to a street. There are 2 proposed parking spaces per dwelling unit in which will be tandem parking. Chapter 700, Section 600-1A of the Codes of Nutley states, no construction permit or certificate of occupancy shall be issued for any use except 1 or 2 family detached dwellings and permitted accessory use thereto, unless a site plan shall have first been approved by the board in accordance with the terms of this chapter, except that the site plan approval also shall not be required for the following, except as set forth in subsection B. A preliminary review of the preliminary and final site plan by Omland and Osterkorn dated May 1st, 2025 indicates the following items are missing using the checklist for site plan applications. 18 copies of application and site plan, fee in accordance with the schedule of fees, 85-42. Data received application, date certified as complete. All entrances and exits to public streets on site and within 400 feet thereof, all property lines, streets, roads, retaining walls, rock outcrops, marshlands, ponds and streams within 400 feet, the rights of way, easements, and all lands to be dedicated to the county, all existing all existing easements, deed restrictions, and other covenants and previous variances granted for the property. Application filed with the county, construction official may require building elevation views of adjacent properties added 5/5, May 5th, 2015 by ordinance number 3302. Waivers may be requested and approved by the board.
Thank you. This is probably going to take a little while. So what I'm thinking is, let's do this. We won't go past 10 o'clock with this so we can get to the other applicant. Okay?
Yes.
Then we'll try to get back to you if we have enough time at the end of the evening, but I'd like to get the other applicants in this evening. Okay?
Yeah, that Chairman obviously runs.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, Gregory Massara, Bannon, Rorty, McDonald, and Massara, on behalf of the applicant Crazy Sam LLC. The owner of the property is Keaton Darji, Darji. The applicant this evening seeks variance relief with regard to the property 3438 Humbert Street. The property is rectangularly shaped. It's 11,697 feet, and it's currently unimproved. For the record, it's block 6702 and lot 10. The lot is an interior lot on Humbert Street. It appears that the lot has been unimproved since 2011. The street, just general description, is a mix of two-family and single-family dwellings. There is an apartment building adjacent to this property on the north. The applicant is seeking a D1 variance, a use variance, because this property is in the R2 zone. A townhouse, which this is defined as a townhouse under the code, is not permitted. We're proposing 4 attached units in one building. The other variance is a D5 variance, and we have the same issue as the last applicant. We meet the height requirement, but we do not meet the story requirement. Our planner will discuss that. We also need a variance because we have 14.9 units per acre and 14.52 units are permitted in the zone. So we need a small variance for that. And we need a side yard variance of approximately 5 feet. And you'll hear testimony from the architect that we can alleviate that variance if the board so desires by a simple change in design. My first witness this evening is Kirsten Osterkorn. She is a licensed engineer in the state of New Jersey. Your Chairman, Ms. Osterkorn has appeared as an expert in front of this board before.
Yeah, so we'll just need her to put her name on record and yeah.
Hi,
Do you swear the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay, give us your full name.
Kirsten Osterkorn from Omland and Osterkorn, 42 Central Ave, Midland Park, New Jersey.
Your license is in good standing in the
Yes.
state of New Jersey now.
Thank you.
Ms. Osterkorn, can you give the board the benefit of the work that we have done on this property, start with a brief description of the property, and then the engineering design, and then we'll go through the engineering letter that the board engineer has provided to you and to which you have responded.
Not gonna stay. Sure. Hi, everybody. Nice to see you. As Mr. Becerra said, this is 3438 Humphrey Street, tax map block 6702, lot 10, Township of Nutley, Essex County. This is the set of plans that were dated, that were referred to. They're dated May 5th, 2025, and they're revised through 12/5/2025.
What number is that?
That's sheet 1.
Ms. Osterkorn, is that part of the application?
Yes.
You'll have this.
We revised per the engineer's letter that we had received and resubmitted in December to address some of her comments.
I would think so. We don't have that?
I think we. Yeah, it's the new exhibits, isn't it?
No.
It says revised, and then we had a new letter from Panoni that they reviewed our plans December 5th, 2025.
Third letter.
Yeah, the December 23rd letter reviewed these set of plans.
Do you have the drawer? Once you show right there. I don't have it.
They're not that exciting of drawings, but
I don't have it. That's this.
Yeah.
those are Mr. Corvino's drawings. I think you're opening.
Yeah. I don't
I have.
I know those are the architects. It's A-1.
Old. We don't have
That's
the.
the old
new-
drawing. Where's the new one?
My set is one of 7. I don't, not the architect's drawings.
What's the date on yours?
Mine are revised through December 5th.
No.
No revision.
There's no revision. date.
Those are still,
They're old.
Let me ask you a question, it's a different way. Did you drop off 15 copies of the new drawing to
Mhm.
the town hall?
yes. We emailed and delivered.
Because we got a package that included revised
We have Z drawings, we have E
South,
drawings. Right.
South revised drawings, 12/5/25.
We have zoning documents.
Oh, is that this?
R10 starts with, the other one is Z 3.0, and architectural starts with the A1, A2, nothing
Wait, what's
resembling
this one?
that.
December 8th, we do have this.
I didn't get it.
You can get this?
No, nobody got it.
I had, no, some of us got it.
No, I said nobody here. On
Oh,
this
on
side.
that side? This is that drawing. Here, I'll let you see one. Yeah, come on. Revision date,
Yeah, revision is 11,
yeah,
no, I thought you said in December.
December 5th.
Nope,
11.
11/1, 11/11,
20.
11/11.
December.
No,
No.
the revision on the drawing is 11/11 on the revision.
Dipty here, which is the one you reviewed? Was it December 5 architect and or the engineer?
Check another drawing.
I have.
No, they're all 11/11.
What's 11/11?
No.
No, it's revised through December 5th.
Okay, sorry. It is revised 12/5. Where's that? Over here. Wait, Frank, we're looking at the wrong.
It's revised, yeah, December 5th.
Yeah, because I had the.
It was revised because of the letter, but my revision date.
So revision date, okay.
I was revising it
I
per
still
the
don't have
letter.
it, so we'll have to use this one. I don't have
Okay,
it.
here, you can use mine.
You don't need it?
Right. Okay, we're back on track.
It was revising it per
What happens when you
Dipsy's
got
letter.
plans?
Yeah.
You know what, let me share, you guys have one you could share over there? And we'll give you
The
this to
revision
share over
date
there,
is
and I'll share with Diana.
12,
Okay, so we each have.
12/5/25.
I promise they're not that exciting, the revision.
Okay. Go ahead.
Sorry. So we had reviewed, Ms. Dipty's, from Panoni letter dated 11/11, which is when we had revised the plan and resubmitted on December 5th. So just speaking to the property, as it was outlined before, the lot area is 11,697 square feet, where 6,000 square feet is required. The lot width is 70 feet, where 60 feet required, and the lot depth is 167.1 feet, where 100 feet is required. There's no change to the lot area width and depth. For front yard requirements, I'm going to move to sheet 2 of my set. On the left side of the sheet is the existing conditions of the survey. It's an undeveloped property. And on the right side is the site plan part of it. 25 feet for front yard setbacks required. We're proposing 71 feet. We're proposing a 4-unit townhouse that faces on Humpert Street, and the rear yard faces to the park town lot in the back. So as you pull in, we have a 24-foot entrance. The units can access, as it was mentioned in the letter, they're tandem garages for the 4 units. And then we have additional 3 spaces, 1 handicap and 2 non-handicap spaces that are available for guests or just part of the parking while the units are provided their parking that they need. Side yard setbacks, we have 6 feet on each side. That's required. I wasn't 100% sure of the 5-foot one. Okay. Oh, so the parking is a 5-foot. The building is required 6 feet, which we are showing at 6 feet. The rear yard setback requirement is 30 feet, and we're proposing at 38 feet. As it was mentioned, the building height, we meet the 30-foot requirement, but it is counted as an extra story. So it's 3 stories where 2.5 stories is required. And for our building and lot coverage, we are in conformance. 35% is required for building coverage. We're at 29.4%. And for lot coverage, which is the building, the deck, the walkways, the steps, the driveways, the parking area, 70% is required, and we're at 69.7%. The required driveway width is 24 feet, which we are providing at the required 24 feet. So that was just my quick zoning analysis that'll help everyone out for the planner later, and my sheet 2 of my set. As I go to sheet 3 is our grading, drainage, and utility sheet. On the left side is the focus of the grading and drainage. We're providing new utilities, gas, water, and electric to the building, and we have drainage systems in the front and the rear to accommodate the increase in coverage for both the parking area as well as the building. So the front half of the roof as well as the parking area will be captured into a drainage system in the front of the building. And the back of the building, we have a smaller system just for the roof area that is set back farther from the property line. We know that there's the fields and everything in the back, and we are set up higher, but we're able to provide that buffer from a drainage perspective. On the right side of the sheet is basically a duplicate, but it adds in the soil conservation requirements for silt fence, limited disturbance, construction entrance, your stockpiles, everything we need for the Hudson Essex Passaic. I also have the drainage calculations that are provided on the right side of the sheet. Speaking to Pannoni's letter, there were questions that we had addressed, minor comments with this revision, additional spot grades that were asked for. We provided the soil testing that was done previously, as well as the locations of where the soil testing was done in the past that was requested. I'm trying to think of, there was the couple of the minor comments that between these couple sheets were just little technical details that we just cleared up for Pannoni's letter, which is the recent letter of December 23rd. As you read it, it says satisfied with a majority of their comments. If I move to sheet 4 is the landscaping plan. In the front of the property, we have 2 nice street trees as well as some shrubbery that's provided along the frontage to buffer out those 3 parking spaces we have, as well as the property. And along both sides of the building, we are providing rhododendrons and additional landscaping that's on both sides. There also is fencing. At the time of when I printed these plans, I didn't show the fencing on my plan, but they are shown on Mr. Corvino's plans that we are providing privacy fencing along the property. So along with the fencing and the landscaping, there's a nice buffer to both the neighbors to the south and the north. And then along the rear of the property, we have, what are they? The Norway spruces that are going to be the nice evergreen, the larger trees that buffer everything from this property to the park in the back. Also help with the absorption, and we have just that little bit of lawn space. So the properties I'm sorry, the tenants that come out to their deck and can come down, they'll have a little grass area. And then they're just going to see some Norway spruces. Like it's going to be a buffer to anything that they were to possibly see in the rear as well, from the rear of the property to the front. And then we have the fencing as well. The sheet 5 is the lighting plan. From the letter that was written by Pannoni, this is one comment I wanted to address, is comment number 12 on page 3 of the letter. I just, on comment number 12 on Pannoni's letter dated December 23rd, it's page 3. It refers to a section of the ordinance that says all parking areas shall be lighted in such a manner as to always provide not less than 1 foot candle of illumination per section 700-60B. At this point, whether that's considered a waiver or a variance, I'm looking to not have 1 foot candle and overlight the site. We are in a residential neighborhood. I spoke with the lighting manufacturer prior to this meeting, and the minimal strip of not meeting that 1 foot candle that is across the site. When you pull in and you're looking at it and you think we want to have the residential feel, we're on a residential street, which is what we're looking for. And you come into your driveway, you have your door lights, your garage lights, and you get into your property and you're okay. Similarly to this, we have the lights that light up the actual parking spots. And then you have the lights from the front doors in the garage. So the minimal area that's across the strip, that's in that 0.2 to 0.5 foot candle, is enough light for someone to just cross. If we have to meet the 1 foot candle and add more lights, we are going to light up the site. And it's not going to have the same residential feel that we're looking for this townhouse, these 4 townhouses. While I can come up here and say, we'll do everything and just satisfy the engineer's request and the ordinance request, I don't think, my professional opinion, it will best serve this site to meet a 1 foot candle requirement on this small 3 parking space lot. That's not what you would want in your backyard. I don't think that's what the neighbors are going to want. This is enough lighting for what we have right here. And I don't know if that's listed as a waiver or a variance.
Well, we'd be asking for a waiver because.
It's section 700, so I'm not.
We'd be asking for a waiver, but this is hard to do, and I'm jumping ahead, if we're inclined to approve this application, we would agree on a post-approval condition that we would work with Ms. Raja, and whatever she preferred, we would be happy to do. We would put it in.
Lighting,
With regard to the light, yes.
just trying to look at this ordinance to see.
Or if they do the 6 months and you test it out later, like after 6 months.
Okay, so here's what's great. The code official citing this ordinance from the townhouse. It says parking shall be provided in the amount of 2 parking spaces per townhouse unit. And then we talked about the lighting. We're not in a townhouse zone.
Yes, I saw that too.
That's why we'd be requesting a waiver, correct?
Yeah, so I know that.
Again, Mr. McGovern, we're happy to comply, so, you know.
I think it's a waiver, it gives the town a little bit more leeway if these 5 they want to increase it. So why don't we call it a request for a waiver on this section? Paul is raising his hand.
Is it section 700?
Yeah.
And it's a variance because it's under the zoning section.
So 700-60 is where
It's a design related variance.
It's a design related variance to townhouses in the townhouse zone.
If you say it's required, like it's a variance, it's either, but if it's not required, it's not a waiver order.
Let's just swear you in so when you.
We asked,
You swear the testimony about the truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth.
I do.
If, full name, give us their name.
It's Paul Ricky, RICCI, licensed professional planner. I mean, I didn't look at this issue in detail, but if he's citing a section that's in the townhouse zone, only question is, does it only apply to the townhouse zone, or does it apply for townhouses in that form of development? That's the question. I don't know. But if it is required, it would be a design related variance because it's in section 700. But
See, the code official didn't cite,
okay,
our engineer.
what section?
It's 60B.
Yeah, so. Okay, it's under Article 10, first townhouse. I know from prior experience that if we have a use variance, the code official only cites what R2, because it's R2, what the R2 zone requirements are. It doesn't mention anything about foot candles in an R2 zone. So this is, to be safe, we can call it a variance, but he didn't cite them. Yes.
And the standards in the R2 zone don't really apply for townhouses, so you're really looking at this application in its totality. As part of the use variance review, if you think it's necessary for a certain form of lighting, board has the right to ask for it.
Yes.
And if you feel that it's not needed for a strip of land between that the engineer just explained, to try to keep a more residential feel, I think you review this in its totality.
Okay, I just want to make sure the notice is correct, because if you notice for variances and you didn't list this as a variance request because it wasn't in the letter of denial, you have that catch-all language and for any other such variances. We're splitting hairs here. The request is that the brightness of the light, which normally would be required for a townhouse in a townhouse zone, which has its other requirements, is being asked for relief here because of its proximity to
But
1 and 2 family homes.
it's technically required or not, when you speak to the zone plan, you know, you typically look to other districts for where the use is permitted, and you would evaluate, right? You would evaluate the standards for where townhouses.
I agree.
So that's the kind of.
I'm going to suggest that if this gets approved, that it be considered, we throw it in there as, and if a variance is required, that we give relief from it.
And the question is, does the board's engineer really think it's necessary, or is she citing this a requirement in the code for this type of land? Yeah. Just because it's cited as a variance.
If
This whatever it's
It's
consumed,
best design.
it would be consumed into the use variance, generally speaking.
Right.
Anyway, that's what happens when Mr. Reese has suggested that it's in a different section of the code. It would be consumed as part of the use variance because you don't have any part of the code. But I agree, Mr. Dunn, with your solution and.
Okay. All right. Any relief from the requirement for foot candle brightness, whether by design, waiver or variance is allowed.
You don't like that.
So everyone's good on that?
They got, like I said, they got enough light from the field, so.
I know. I was like, so we're good. And then the balance of just going through Panoni's letter, we provided the soil location map, and there was a couple of ongoing requirements. They had requested an operation and maintenance manual. We had requested in our review letter that that'd be a condition of approval, just in case the drainage system has to, the drainage system is just based on the approval. I mean, right now we have the chamber system shown. If there was some reason it changed into a system, the operation and maintenance manual would follow, but it doesn't have an impact as to the design. It's just how the owner has to maintain the system. That typically we provide that as a condition of approval, if approved. The last item was the water and sewer demand calculations, which I know we had done and I thought were provided, but it doesn't seem like you got them because I think they were part of, but if not, we have them to provide for you, the water and sewer for the 4 units that are, we've submitted all the will serve letters as well. We just haven't gotten them back.
Okay.
How many year flood is that based on?
Say that again?
How many years?
25.
The social part with regard.
The 20, yeah, I'm sorry. The 25-year storm that we designed the system off of.
With regard to that social, with Ms. Raja's determination that this is not a major development.
Yes,
That's correct. And you had said that you did not encounter groundwater when you did the infiltration test pits.
correct. Mhm.
And then with regard to the O&M manual that was requested, that would be something that would be prepared, or is that something that you believe is not necessary?
It would be prepared.
So upon approval,
If the system that's approved right now, I can write the O&M manual tomorrow. Oh, I did. See, I did do it. Yes. Yep. So we have for the 4-bedroom townhouse, for 2 bedrooms, it's 600 gallons per day is what's going to be generated from them. I think it was just one comment about the doing it for the peak. So I have to multiply it by 3. So it'd be 1,800 gallons per day for the peak.
Yes.
The sewer calculations are 900 gallons per day for 4 2-bedroom townhouses. And we have submitted the will serve letters to the respective utility companies.
That's what I'm saying.
Did you go on a hiring with that? Seems like
It's so the sewer calculations come from this state code. It's the administrative code. No, it says it's 225 gallons per day per unit. And then the water is a different section. That's 150 gallons per day per unit. So and that was based on a 2-bedroom. Yeah.
I have a question about the flood.
Yeah.
You're saying this is all based on what you need for a townhouse or in the residential area. You're putting a townhouse in a residential area that usually we get 30 feet between townhouses. So are we getting this water far enough away from these other houses?
Yes. The drainage system is designed based on your coverage. So whether you built a single family home that would be the same size as this and a big parking driveway area, because we're complying with both building coverage and impervious, that if you came in here with the same single family home, we'd have to put in the same drainage system. Part of what gets done, it's a groundwater modeling analysis to make sure that the water, when it's underground, it's not impacting the neighbors. But the fact that we didn't hit groundwater, we had decent soil. Whether this is a townhouse or not, this could be a single family home with the same coverage and we'd have to do the same drainage.
I'm just concerned because I'm worried about floods. That's
Understood.
what I'm worried about. And we're getting a lot more floods lately and a lot worse floods.
And normally, I'm sorry to cut you off. So because this isn't a major development, so we're not increasing our coverage by a 1/4 acre. We're not disturbing an acre. In residential type developments, if someone was coming in here with a regular single family home, and my experience in Nutley for other projects I've done for single family and pool developments, is that you design the drainage system based on 2 to 3 inches per hour, or 2 to 3 inches over the increase, which is more of like a 2 to 5 year storm. Because we're coming in here for a site plan and we're in front of your board engineer, we've gone to a higher standard of a 25-year storm and exacerbated and made the requirements even higher than what normally would be done here if someone came in here just to build a single family home that wouldn't even be in front of the board.
All right, we'll ask our engineer later. Yes.
Okay.
I have a question. I think I don't know who it's for. The manual, which you're asking for it to be supplied afterwards. Is this going to be a homeowners association? Because the problem with and will that be included, that information be included in the manual? I think, is that something that would be necessary?
Yes.
For enforcement purposes? Okay, I just wanted that to be on the record. You're not selling the individual townhouses without an association?
No, there would be an association, and the O&M manual gives the guidelines for inspection of the inlets of the entire system after major storm events. There's an inspection report to be part of that HOA that's part of this 4-unit development.
Continue.
I'm done.
You're done.
no other questions?
Anybody else? Anyone in the audience that would like to be heard? I don't think there's anybody in the audience.
Actually, I had one
Oh, you
small.
have-
Just questions for me.
We have,
I just have one small question about the final privacy fences.
Yes.
On the right side of the property, next to the single family home, I guess it's the south side.
Right side when you're facing it.
Yeah,
Sorry, not right
yeah.
side on the plan, right side this
So
side.
there's
Yeah.
that chain link fence. Whose fence is that currently? And are we?
It meanders on the fence line.
Uh-huh.
I would think the owner, when they go to build, they're going to talk to the neighbors if it's thought that it's their fence. But I think it'd be the conversation that it goes along the property line with the block wall, that they'd be taking that down and replacing it. But they'd have a conversation with, I mean, it's on our property and it kind of meanders and crosses over and then goes back around. So they'd have to have a conversation with their neighbor.
So is there a possibility of two fences separated by how many feet?
It'd be like inches, not
Oh,
feet.
just inches. Okay.
It'd be inches.
Okay.
If our client is not one that he doesn't want to anger anybody and neighbors, if that neighbor wants to keep that chain link fence, we would just put our vinyl fence right along it on our side.
Okay.
But ideally, it would be that fence would come down as it's kind of goes between and along the property line.
So it would be just in the maximum case, it would just be.
It would just be inside of
whatever
it.
The property line offset is.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
And we will have,
Is there?
the architect, when they discuss that, there's a further.
Board deliveries.
To remove the existing fence and just put up the new vinyl fence.
all right. Anything else? Anybody else have a question? For the engineer? No,
Our
okay.
next witness is Salvatore Corvino.
Come on down.
Alice here as an architect only.
Mr. Corvino.
We'll need you to swear, we'll have to swear him in as well. Raise your right hand, please. Swear the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Yes, I do.
And give us your full name, spell your name and address.
Salvatore Corvino, architect and planner, testifying as an architect only at this point for this project. 111 Brookfield Avenue, Nutley, New Jersey.
And you've been before us many, many times.
Yes.
And your license is in good standing, I trust.
Yes.
Okay.
Mr. Corvino, can you please, go on the board, first, the rendering of the property from
Yes.
street view and then.
Mind putting that up there? Yes. We have the drawing, I reference it as R1 rendering. It was submitted in the revised package. And just, it shows a site plan just to locate where the view is for the rendering. So the rendering of the townhouse, the front view is taken from the side of the property that is adjacent to the apartment building, viewing the front parking lot and front facade. I have another rendering, the interior, looking at the kitchen from the dining room area and looking up the stairs to the second floor, the third floor.
Here, right forward, the ground fences that we talked about.
Yes.
The general design of the four entrances.
Yeah, so, all right, everyone just reference this. The exterior, it's Kirsten had indicated, the fence is shown on my drawing. It's a 6-foot high decorative vinyl fence. I show it ending at the building facade only to not block the view of the rendering, but that fence would continue to the front parking space, 10 feet off the front property line. It is shown on the site plan that way. So the fence runs from 10 feet off the property line, down the side, across the rear of the property, and back to along the side. I have that as 6 feet. But and again, that's just meant to prevent lights from cars affecting the neighbors. So that fence from the front of the building to the parking could be lowered to 4 feet if the board prefers it. It's not necessary for it to be 6 feet, but I thought it might be something that the board wants to consider for the neighbors. But the 6 foot portion would be from the front facade of the building down the side yard and across the rear property line on both sides of the building. The remaining portion of the side yard would be landscape behind the fence, and then have some landscaping at the front of the parking lot, but no fence across the front of the property. In terms of front entrance, yes. So now the building, the materials used on the building are going to be stone at the base and on the side. My apologies, I have to switch my pages here. We would have a hardy board style plank clapboard siding for the upper portion, the second floor, and the dormers. We have a metal railing with this with the masonry stairs going up to the front doors up the second level, which is the main entry. There would be a interior. There would be an entry at the lower level under the stair to each garage, and under the stairs is where the storage would be for the trash containers that each tenant would bring to the curb themselves. There could be something written into the townhouse maintenance agreement. If somebody were to actually hire someone, they would probably include that as cost, but they can hire someone to bring the garbage out. But knowing how the new system is working, we could treat these townhouses as individual homes where the homeowner brings their garbage out to the curb like everyone else is doing now. However, it could be done by a maintenance person and be included in the HOA fee. Same goes for the recycling. Everything is stored under the stair. And each tenant has their own utility service, and the meters can be remote read from the side of the property, but each townhouse unit has a panel and the meter the electric meters could be on the side of the property along with the gas meters and the water meters, or they could be remotely read and the meters be inside the garage mechanical room. The garage doors will have clear lights at the top. We had proposed an alternate plan for the upper level. The original set of plans had windows in the dormer. I provided an alternate balcony plan, which I feel would also help with the open space if each tenant had more open space. We were a little short on the open space for townhouse use. We do have their yard. We have a deck. We have space under the deck is open space. Would probably be 40 square foot short. So I provided balconies 3 feet by 10 feet in front of the front dormer and the rear dormer bedroom. We have a little outdoor space that might be considered counted toward the open space, because each tenant would have that in their unit. Then there would be a combination of some paneling and clapboard siding for the upper portion of the building. And architectural style fiberglass shingles for the roof. And a stone veneer for the base, the first floor base at the front and the sides of the building.
Can you describe the interior layout?
Yes, so we have, yes, this one. So an interior layout, we have, this is the balcony scheme, so we're looking at third floor. This third floor. Okay, so this is, I guess we're starting with the third. Let's try to do the lower level. Yeah. No, the other one there. That's the other. Leave, no, leave that. That's the one. I apologize. Starting with the ground floor.
Which part is that?
This would be drawing Z3. The ground floor is shown in the overall site plan, garage level. We have a ground floor that's made up of a parking space in the garage, some mechanical closets and utility closet, laundry area off of a rec room with stairs that lead up to the first floor dining level. And the tandem parking space is the space in front of the garage. In an R2 zone, you can park car in front of the garage. And so that becomes your second space. It's the spaces that are closer to the street that would be requesting, I guess, a variance on that or a waiver, because those are parking in the front yard, but not in front of a garage, unless you can consider parking 25 feet from the garage, still in front of the garage, but that is still so we have 3 additional spaces at the front, one of them being a handicap space. The second level becomes the main living level, and that's on sheet A1. Had 2 options. There's just a slight variation in layout, but this option has the dining room at the rear, those stairs that lead down to the rec room, half bathroom, powder room. A1, A10. Right. Let me know when you're. There was some additional sheets replaced, but the A1 is in the original set that you got. They were in the original submission. They haven't changed. These are the sheets that changed. There were some conditions so you'd have to open up the original set for A1. And there's also ready, or just let me know. All right, so in A10, we have uh, you come up from the rec room at the rear. You have a dining room with the stairs that lead down to the rec room, a door that leads out to a deck, and deck stairs down to the yard level. We have a kitchen in the middle with a half bathroom and some storage pantry space under the stairs that lead up to the third floor. We have a counter you could sit at for 3 people, dishwasher, sink, stove, refrigerator. It's an open plan. The units are about 13 and a half clear inside, 14 and a half center to center. The front area is the living room with a entry and coat closet, and a little desk area alcove at the front with a bay window that overhangs over the garage door. Option A or option B. The only difference between the two is the configuration of the kitchen, where the layout of the kitchen. The interior can be chosen by an owner ahead of time, or we could provide 2 units one way, 2 units the other way. The interior, it doesn't change the exterior. The interior is just, it might be an option for a different layout. The owner might decide they want to go with one scheme, and that's what I was providing, just for configuration. The other scheme, the layouts for the rooms are all the same size as the kitchen in that scheme. Then up to the third level, we have a master bedroom, and a secondary bedroom of similar size. Each bedroom has a dormer bay that expands out. I try to cut some of the roof down a little, so we created dormer windows and try to reduce some of the volume up there. We pulled the building back a few feet at that level, front and rear, and 2 bedrooms. Each bedroom has closet space. The master bedroom has a master bath, double sink, a walk-through closet that goes through into the bathroom, additional closet in the hallway, a linen closet in the hallway, a second bathroom, and a walk-in closet for the front bedroom.
Exterior, you designed to have a residential characteristic.
Yes, the intention here was that, if you remember the first time we brought this in front of the board, we had the townhouses turned 90 degrees facing the neighbor. There was some comments and concerns there. So we thought facing forward, reducing it by 1 unit and making it sort of work in the street line. It is set back more than most of the houses. A lot of those houses along that street are very small lots, undersized lots. Houses, not a lot of front yard parking. People park wherever they can, but those lots are all undersized, and the houses are closer to the front. There isn't much of a rear yard because a lot of them are undersized in depth and width. We wanted to provide a street line view that looked like the residential, the reason for the dormers, and trying to keep it, even though it's a 3-story, we kept it under the 30 feet, but we try to make the roof line drop a little so that we, maintain a more residential look. And I think it appeals more in terms of a street view. They're townhouses. The lot is large enough to really almost have 4 single-family homes on it, but we try to make it look like these are trying to be more conducive with the rest of the neighborhood in terms of its look.
Here I made a certain question. Other question I had. On the R1.0.
What are you looking at?
On the plan it shows you the center, you can put it together. But if I look at the CD, you look at the picture.
No, you don't see the driveway. The driveway is actually down the middle.
It is down the middle.
Yeah, the rendering probably shows it grass, but
The rendering shows it way more.
it's further over. It's a little out of whack, but
That's why.
it should be in the middle.
Okay. So that's perfect.
Yeah. I was trying to get a view of the house.
Yeah.
Even the fence would have blocked it all the way up to the front here, but I just didn't show it, just so you could see the materials. Yeah.
Obviously, you have the fence listed in the plan, right?
Yes, it's listed in the plan. There's even a detail on the engineer's drawing. But we initially thought we wouldn't have the fence, then we brought it up when we revised the drawings and responded to the planner's letter. We decided to show the fence and add a fence because we think that old fence there it's kind of a mess. The neighbor who owns the apartment building having problems with it. There's a lot of growth, little poison ivy. The fence, the plants are growing through the cyclone fence. The fence really needs to be removed and replaced. And it.
This flag is not movable. And it wasn't denied. The denial letter, I was just wondering how that, because I was drawings that showing the fence stopping at the front of the house. But now you're talking about, he described the fence as 6 feet,
No.
it's 6 feet tall.
6 foot tall.
And then the residential area, which is this.
Right.
You can only go 4 feet and 50%.
Go down to 4 feet.
At the front, it can go 6 at the rear.
You know, look at that.
Front wall of the house, I built the fence beyond the front wall to block the parking area. That is 6 feet, but I had mentioned that we could drop that down to the 4 foot height and leave it 6 feet at the rear. Yes. Right.
I want to see how it come back for another round.
No, I had mentioned it right off the top that I would drop that down to the 4 foot, the maximum height at the front portion of it.
That's on the sides that needs to be high.
On the side yard, up to the front building wall from the rear would be 6 feet. Going beyond the front wall, it would be 4 feet. Oh, 6 foot is? Okay, so
On the side of the building. which
Okay,
is
so
defined from the
we
front.
have landscaping there. I added the fence there just to give some, because there's cars maneuvering there and vehicles, so we could certainly remove the fence at the front if it, if it, no, but I realize if it's a variance, then we can't really include it.
I agree. Bring that back. Yeah. For the front of the lane going into the neighborhood. And it should be 4 feet, but it doesn't, it's not cited, so can we?
We can amend your request to ask for a variance for that. Typically recuses himself when that's variance, but, we're gonna do this, then. We put this in, and Mr. Boja, you will not be voting on that, for that variance.
So the question would be is whether you want the fence 6 foot all the way up to that point or go down to 4 feet.
Yes. We're gonna allow 6 feet. Or we could go and ask for 5 foot. It works. Why we put- I was like,
That's what it's like to vote, except if the variance is necessary for. The variance is required for what part?
This is horse, that's gonna be 4 feet. And things that over there. So he's asking for $600 on your back. But from this point, we're over to what, 60?
4 feet from the front of the house. What's the side of the parking lot?
Mark up the survey so that we can make it as, I'm doing it right now, okay?
How far back from the front property line?
10 feet.
And that's all.
There
It lines up with the parking space, the last part.
That and 4 feet dollars up to 10 feet from the front of.
Correct. Well, the point was to have a solid fence so the lights wouldn't bother anyone, right?
In theory, it's marked up for things that you have it as an exhibit and please indicate the height of the fence, the fact that it's solid, in those areas.
Solid vinyl.
Yeah. We're going solid vinyl in the 4-foot section at the front. And
Here. The survey with it marked. So we're gonna get it done.
We will get that.
And documents from the front of the house, and from the property line.
Right.
Lot line.
we just make sure you're showing it. Yeah. Right. So the green is 4. So all solid fence.
Okay.
All right. All solid, right?
All solid.
And I don't think we have any remarks yet, so that's gonna be A2 and the red is that, okay?
I have that fence as white, however, open to any color that the board requires. Thank you.
Okay. Anything else? Any questions? Other questions? No? No more questions here? Anybody in the audience?
I just have a quick question. You talked about the, in the front, front body, you put it at out in the front.
Like a balcony, a rail with a little place where you could stand or sit, have a chair, have a cup of coffee in the morning. It's only about 3 feet deep. So yeah, we'll have a little pit and it'll be tied in with the drainage, the storm drain system.
Oh, no.
Yeah, so that'll be part of the HOA. They're going to have snow removal, leaf, and that'd be part of the HOA fee. That'd be handled by a private company. The only thing I'm not handling with a private company is there's no outdoor garbage storage location. The garbage is kept in the containers, the rollout containers that everybody has under the stairs. And again, if the landlord decide or the property owner decides to have that as part of the fee, to have somebody move the stuff out for the tenant, but I think each tenant could treat it like their own house. And yeah, there were about, I will make them fit. Yeah. Yeah. What am I?
There's a 90-gallon, which most people have.
It's not shorter.
Shorter. Made for our elderly.
It's a small question, just a real fast question. The driveway there on the right or whatever, on it.
Yes.
Space. What's the width of that? You have it on both sides.
This here? The
The
driveway?
color edition.
Yes, I'm sorry. What are you looking at?
Right there, put your finger.
Right.
That,
That's the driveway of the property next door, the
that's
apartment
property
building.
next.
That's the view I'm taking.
Okay.
Taking it from
Because I see the wall, I see the Belgian
No,
block.
that's the other property.
Gotcha, okay.
Our driveway is
Okay, you kind of messed this up.
yeah, we had to
I got
cut
it.
off part of it to fit it in there, and I realized I should have shown more of it. Our driveway is
I know.
about 25 feet over.
Anybody else? Yes, we'll do it next question. Ready for our? Yes, anybody else?
Yes, we have our planner.
All right.
I don't need some. Thank you. That's right. Oh, you.
Mr. Chairman, next witness is Peter Steck.
I do. My full name is Peter G. Steck, Steck, address 80 Maplewood Avenue, Maplewood, New Jersey. I am. It is. Yes. I have a handout that might be helpful.
Yes.
I think it's the billboard, right?
Yeah. Paul, in the middle, Paul. Okay,
So did we mark?
Yes.
Okay. I'll just briefly describe A3 and then I'll run through it in my testimony. A3 was prepared by me. It's dated January 5th, and it consists of 6 pages. Again, first page just shows the zone that we're in relation to the entire municipality. The second page has aerial photographs where on the left side, I've outlined the R2 zone, and on the right side is a Google view of the subject property outlined in yellow. The next page, P3 in the upper right-hand corner, has the neighborhood from a drone view that's fairly recent. That was January 5th, and I've superimposed the site plan on that diagram. The next page, P4, is photographs that were taken by me on January 3rd of this year, depicting existing conditions. So on the upper left 2, you see the adjacent multifamily building, garden apartment that has 8 units plus a manager's unit. On the right, you see the dwelling on the opposite side of the subject property, and in the lower right, you see the view from our property looking across Humbert. I'll talk about this later, but the next page shows the R2 zone where I've highlighted where the subject property is in a darker black line, lot 10. And then I have a dot showing the lots that conform to the minimum lot dimensions and minimum use. And so you can see that there's a lot of nonconformity on our side of the R2 zone south of Ellen Street. The next page, which is P6 in the upper right-hand corner, I've outlined what I call an analysis area. We're an interior lot, so I looked at the interior lots on Humbert Street. In light pink, I show the number of dwelling units. In dark red, I show the densities of the existing development. So back to the beginning on my testimony. This is a rectangular lot, 70 by 168. It's vacant. It did have a dwelling on it, which I believe was demolished in about 2010, according to the aerial photographs. So it's a vacant property today. The review memo references types of variances that we need. The parent variance is we're proposing townhouses in a zone that doesn't permit townhouses. So that's a Medici case, a D1 variance. There is also, someone could argue it's subsumed in the fact that your zone doesn't really have a density standard. It has a minimum lot size. But if you look at your zone, the R2 zone allows a two-family on a 6,000 square foot lot. That comes out to 14.52 dwelling units an acre. We're proposing 14.8, so we're slightly over the density. We have 3 stories instead of 2.5. And that's a C variance and not a D variance. There was an issue about tandem parking because our units have garages with a park in front. Most of you probably have tandem parking in your houses. I'll note for the record that the residential site improvement standards, which govern parking in this application, in section 5:21-4.14, say in subsection D2, a one-car garage and driveway combination shall count as 2 off-street parking spaces, provided the driveway measures a minimum of 18 feet in length between the face of the garage and the right-of-way. So I would suggest, although I don't want to fight with you, I would suggest that because the RSIS allows a garage and a parking space in front counting as 2 spaces, that shouldn't require relief. But if we need relief, I think it is justified. We do have our front parking area, that parking is permitted. The plans show the setback between the pavement and the side property is about 2.5 feet. What I would suggest is that because many of the lots are narrow, it's not unusual. But what I would suggest is we are proposing a code compliant 24-foot wide driveway, which is your minimum standard for 2 ways. Because of the few, and that would apply up to 99 parking spaces. You would be served by the 2-directional driveway. That's much more driveway than you really need to get out of a small project like this. And I would suggest as something for you to consider, if we shrunk that to 18 feet instead of 24 feet, we could have more greenery on the side of the front parking area. We could have at least 5 feet there, which is what the code is required. So that is a suggested amendment. To me, it's 100% reasonable to have something less than 24 feet on a driveway in the center of the property. Part of my analysis was to look at the surrounding area, predominantly residential, although you know there's municipal parkland to the rear. The reason I included those 2 diagrams at the end of my exhibit, P5, is most of the lots in our portion of the R2 zone are non-conforming. There are non-conforming uses. There probably isn't a house that's set back the minimum of 25 feet. So this is an area that's really discordant with your R2 zone. There's just a high degree of nonconformity with lot sizes, with setbacks, with architectural styles. There's some people that park kind of right on the sidewalk in front of their dwellings because there's no other place to do it. So it's the paramount feature of this little neighborhood is that the pavement width is only a little over like 14.3 feet. So it's a one-way street. You really can't park on it because if you parked on it, you would block traffic. So a paramount issue is let's make sure you have enough parking. And that's why the applicant has designed it this way to have convenient parking in the front and more than the minimum requirement. The minimum requirement would be 10 spaces and RSIS, and you got to have a half a space per unit for guest parking. I did look at your master plan. Your master plan does recommend, first of all, the land use plan says that this is a 1 and 2 family area. That's what it's zoned for. it didn't want to have intrusions into the residential zone. Intrusions, I think, as viewed in your master plan, which is 2012, was, for example, non-residential use intruding onto a residential zone. Like most master plans, it wants to preserve residential areas. It wants to make that infill development is consistent with the area. But what I would suggest is there's really no pattern in this area. Almost every lot is non-conforming. There's almost no building that's set back 25 feet according to the code. It is really an anomaly in terms of what your zoning was looking for. So in terms of relief, our parent, and I'll say that I did look at the R3 zone standards that apply to townhouse development. It's hard to apply them here because you're supposed to have a 1 acre minimum lot size, if I recall. They're not technically variances, but I understand because we need a use variance, you can consider reasonable conditions, even though we're not technically in a townhouse zone. So the main variance we need is the townhouse use. There is a C variance in terms of, so the main variance is a Medici case. We have to show that there's some public purposes that are advanced. We have to show particular suitability, and we have to meet the negative criteria under the enhanced burden of proof, that this can be approved without substantial detriment to the public good, which is lighting, noise, traffic, and without substantial impairment to the zone plan and zoning ordinance. The height in stories is a C variance rather than a D variance because it's not a linear height, it's just storage. And again, as discussed, we would like a variance for extending a fence from the front face of the building toward the street. My discussions with the representative of the garden department next door, he would prefer the 6-foot fence to come all the way up until about 10 feet from the front property line. That's his preference. It would require a variance, but he will get up and say that is his preference. I suppose a second tier is we could drop it to 4 feet, but I'm just reporting in advance that neighbor would prefer that the 6-foot fence, vinyl fence. So he'll have to testify after, when it's time to comment, but I want to give you a heads up on that issue. So in terms of justifying the variances, and an important consideration, in my opinion, is my last exhibit that shows the densities in the area. There are a lot of lots that are higher in density than we are. We are a small fraction over the maximum density that would be permitted in the zone. So it's in terms of intensity of use, in my opinion, we're not that foreign to what that area has historically been developed. And as you know, there's very little new development in this area. It's kind of all frozen because many of these are non-conforming in terms of their density or use, but certainly lot size. So I think there are 4 purposes of the municipal land use law that are advanced. Purposes A, E, G, and I. A, if you recall, talks about encouraging most appropriate use of land that promotes the public health, safety, morals, and welfare. E talks about the establishment of appropriate population densities. And again, we're very close to the maximum density. We're a little bit over, but only a fraction over than what the zone would permit. G talks about providing appropriate space for different types of land uses. This is a private redevelopment project. This property has been vacant for a number of years. It happens to sit next to a garden apartment development of 8 units plus a manager's units, a total of 9 dwelling units. On the other side, we have a 2-family house with parking in the rear for a number of trucks and other vehicles. I'm not sure exactly, the extent of those uses, but it's a difficult site to use. The main features of this property is Humbert is substandard. It's probably the only street in Nutley that looks like this, that has a 14.3 foot width. This has a great view to the rear because you overlook parkland and you can see portions of the New York skyline. So part of the design of this project is to take advantage of that open space in the rear. I do think this is a reasonable private redevelopment project. It's very close to the maximum permitted density. Another purpose that I think is advanced is promoting a desirable visual environment. This is going to read as a 2.5-story building because of the dormers or the balcony on the top. It does comply with the minimum side setbacks and height and front setbacks. So in terms of shadow pattern, it's not going to offend any of the surrounding properties. I think it is particularly suited for this area because there's really been no development on this street. This is it's a larger lot than the minimum. It has now open space in the rear that is abuts the parkland to the rear. Nutley has a lot of, these are 2-bedroom townhouses. Nutley has a lot of 1 and 2 family sized households. According to the 2020 census, 27% of your households are 1-person households at that time. 32% are 2-person households. That means 59% of your households in 2020 were either 1 or 2-person households. Much suited to this type of development rather than the classic single-family home with a large number of bedrooms. So I think that this is an appropriate infill development. It's cited to this area, which really has an issue. You don't want a car having to stop in the street to load and unload. You want to make sure there's enough parking, and we have more than the minimum required parking. In terms of the negative criteria, this is a unique portion of Humbert Street. There are many units that are higher than in density than the ordinance permits. We're only slightly over that density. We meet the requirements in terms of stormwater handling. Again, the focus of this development is, in my opinion, reasonable use of the property as a private redevelopment, indicating that it's been vacant for a number of years. This makes sense because we have more than the minimum amount of parking. We have open space now to the rear of the units. Each of the units can take advantage of that view to the rear, which is an expansive area because of the recreation facility and portions of the New York skyline. In my opinion, with the conditions that may be imposed, and again, one of the variances may be the extension of a 6-foot fence, which will be a request of an adjacent owner. In my opinion, this would not be substantially detrimental to the public good and would not substantially impair the intent and purpose of the zone line and zoning ordinance. Thank you.
I do. Sure. My name is Anthony Calandra. I'm sorry, what did you want? Spell my last name. Calandra. And Address is 42 Humbert Street. I'm the owner of the apartment building that he referenced. Okay. I wrote an email to Mr. Mascara and David Berry. My concern, and the reason I'm requesting a higher fence, over the years, some significant weed/tree roots have sort of mangled the fence that partitioned the two properties. Abating that completely and putting in a 6-foot fence would significantly help that situation. In addition, some poison ivy was developing along the line that didn't come from me because everything was asphalt on my side. So the poison ivy would be abated. And just to, assure that that won't happen again, the taller the fence, the better. No, not the poison ivy part, but the tree roots that were developing. The roots, I mean, they.
We have no objection, Mr. Chairman, as applicant.
My only concern.
Okay, 6 feet on the northerly side.
Did you have anything else?
Okay, I think it might be true.
Okay.
Although the planners did bring up, the width of that street many times. And we all understand it, very small. And yeah, if you park the car there, you're not getting that. So during construction, you have, and again, this might have to do with the way you coordinate site work, underground work, and Belgian block work. But when I look at this product, not that it's massive, you have lumber. Your lumber truck comes, you can't block the truck, you can't block the street, you gotta close the street down for 2 hours. Windows come in, you have to close the street down for 2 hours. And you're gonna have a nightmare. So what I'm gonna ask you is if you can, I don't know if you can make this condition, but, and again, the contractors are coming, you're gonna have vans.
Right.
You're gonna have a problem there with people that live in that neighborhood, we have to take that into consideration. So possibly the front work would be the 10-foot in, let's say. If we could hold that to less, not the underground.
And yes.
But the actual paving and finishing and putting up until every deliveries are done. I think that would be very helpful.
I think you can get the representation that I can make on my client's behalf that it'll be performed that way, that the street will not be, right, yes.
I'm going to have a suggestion.
So,
Why doesn't the requirement or a condition be that there be a pre-construction meeting?
That's
Where your engineer meets, Ms. Rajic, would you be in attendance at that? And a whole schedule in terms of what's most or least intrusive to the neighborhood can be set up by the code office.
You have to coordinate traffic control.
Yeah.
Right. Want to see neighbors, and we all know how scheduling goes. The meetings are great and you all sound good. But when the delivery got done, the traffic control really has to be handled because people have children that have to get out of school. We're gonna have delivery at 8 in the morning. I just think that if we leave that so the trucks can get in and do what they have to do and then unload and go away, it would be, if we can be very conscious of that. If you can hear that, if this.
I guess now we'll bring up Ricky, Mr. Ricky. He's already been sworn in, so he can get right into it.
Mr. Chairman, I can be pretty brief, I think. I prepared a letter dated November 7th, 2025 that outlines the application. As just, everyone should be clear though, regarding this site, it is an unusual property, specific property in the zone. It's 11,697 square feet where 6,000 square feet is required. It's an overly deep property. It's 161.7 feet deep. It's only 70 feet wide where 60 feet is permitted. So by right, while they're essentially slightly over the density, they could only build a two-family home without the need for, because you couldn't subdivide a 6-family house. So by right, really only a two-family could fit on here, irrespective of the density. With that said, I did hear what Mr. Steck had to say, and he did have some valid points regarding the existing characteristics of this area. I do feel as a planner that townhouses, 2-bedroom townhouses, is a type of land use that is in strong need, not just in Nutley, but throughout the state. It's more of a workforce type of housing. Typically, we see a lot of focus on affordable housing, large single-family homes, and then the workforce housing seems to get left behind. So from a positive standpoint, I think that is definitely addressed from the form of housing that is being proposed here. I do believe technically the tandem parking variance is required, and I'm aware of the provision that Mr. Steck said of the residential site improvement standards. That speaks to a driveway, speaks to a car in a garage and a driveway on the outside. The residential site improvement standards don't speak to 2 cars inside a garage. And historically, while this is a single-family attached form of development, still is multifamily development. And under Nutley's code, it's historically been interpreted for apartments and other type of applications where parking is inside, that tandem parking is not a permitted land use. For that reason, I think it's a technical variance. I think it's akin to a driveway situation. I don't find it to be a problematic situation, but I think it's technically a variance. I mean, I was here for the first application. I know that's not being discussed today, but in terms of how this project presents itself, I think it's a lot better in terms of it now is facing the roadway. It's not a turned building. They are providing the traditional elements of a development with open space in the rear yard and the like. So in terms of the planning comments, I'm going to be brief giving the outer. We had some minor comments that we discussed. Things that are a little peculiar about the project, the units are very narrow. It's only a 13.5-foot wide unit. The applicant is proposing 6-foot side yards. That's for 2-family development. Like townhouses, arguably, we'd like to encourage more of a side yard because it's a bigger building, but the board's going to have to evaluate that in part of its deliberations. The main proofs that I think the board needs to feel comfortable with is here. This is an unusual area where the applicant did show that the densities in the area do exceed what they are proposing. You know, it does have an 8-unit apartment building nearby, and then it has largely scattered 1- and 2-family homes. So it is a somewhat, I don't want to say unusual, but it's different than many areas of Nutley. So the board has to feel comfortable that this use is particularly well suited at this location. If you feel it's particularly well suited, it meets the positive criteria under the municipal land use law for the D1 use variance application. The density variance, as I do believe that the density variance is technically required because under the law, when you're dealing with anything other than a 1- and 2-family form of development, you do back into the density, whether you have a specific density provision or not under the code. So the density variance is required. That testimony was provided. It's slightly over the code. I did like that Mr. Corvino, how he hid the 3rd floor under the dormers in the front of the building to try to hide that additional story. I thought that was a nice architectural touch to the building as delivering this project. So in terms of the negative criteria, I think the board has to feel that it's no substantial detriment to the public good. That's namely the surrounding property owners. We have not heard any negative testimony from them this evening. And we've shown support, at least for a variance, a fence situation. And the question is, does this result in a substantial impairment in the zone plan? And was that delivered under the enhanced burden of proof, understanding that, you know, this is not a permissible form of development in the town? I do think that the board could consider, as part of a special reason or a changed circumstance, that this is a form of housing that is in strong demand today.
And it's something that could be considered, that it wasn't something I can say that in 2012 that there was a focus on providing more workforce housing in the community. So that's something that the board could consider. But overall, from a planning standpoint, a lot of improvements occurred here from the previous project for sure.
One thing, or a couple of things. Will you agree that reduced lighting, or is that for?
I'll give a planning comment on it. What I think the site engineer indicated is that largely the issue pertains to there's some front lighting for the parking spaces and then some building mounted lighted. And in between those two, that lighting, there's maybe a 10-foot area where it's a little darker. From a planning standpoint, I don't see it objectionable. I would try to encourage a lower lighting level, but there's always safety considerations that I defer to the board engineer on.
And in your opinion, the townhouses would probably result in less school-age children than two family or two family there?
We don't always consider like school children and financial issues to some extent, but it's usually the bedroom is the biggest determiner of school children, and the two bedroom type of situation would encourage a lower multiplier. I haven't seen I'm not sure if there's new CUPR numbers in a few years, Center for Urban Policy Research, but generally the third bedroom is the one that really steps up that school children count.
Yeah, that's what we've been.
In the driveway width, you approved developments on, in the downtown with driveways recently, I think as narrow as, 16, 14 feet. So I'll defer to Dipty as well, but for a low volume type of traffic from planning standpoint, I would.
Yeah, but I think with a narrow street like that and fire trucks and things like that got to get through.
No, I'm saying the driveway width of the property. I'll defer to Dipty, but.
Yeah, all right.
18
okay.
The driveway is going to be wider than the street,
Yeah, but you're going to need that turning radius, I think, with a large truck, a fire truck or something like that.
Ambulance, a fire truck has to get in. Or
Also, when you're jockeying your cars around, if you pull over to the side and then your person can go out and then you pull back in, I think that sounds.
Well, I'm not a fire chief. They usually don't bring their rigs that close to a building.
I'm not talking about fire chief. I'm talking about just on site when you're moving your car around, but Dipty will speak to us about that.
We'll bring Dipty up first. Thank you.
Sure.
Anybody else have questions? Nope. Dipty? We didn't swear her in yet, right?
No.
I need to swear you in. Would you raise your right hand, please? Do you swear the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Full name, spell your last name.
Dipti Raja, RAJA, 1085 Raymond Boulevard, board engineer.
And the name of your firm?
Benoni Associates.
Okay, this is our town.
Okay, so I'll keep it brief as well. In our review letter dated December 23rd, we do know the fact that this application was previously presented to the board in 2024. We're not discussing that application tonight, but that application was presented for a five-unit townhouse, which was denied. And the applicant has come with a new application now with four units. I did want to touch a little bit on the letter. The letter does indicate that most of the comments have been satisfied, and we have worked with the applicant's engineer. Did want to touch on the flood issue that was brought up earlier today. This project is creating an increase in impervious area of about 0.21 acres. What DEP considers is anything more than 0.25 acres is a major development. So it's pretty close to the threshold, but it's still under the threshold, which is why it's not a major development. And that's one of the reasons why the typical 2-3 inch year storm was not asked for. And we went and the request was to design it for a minimum 25-year storm. Didn't want to bring that up. We did get the soil test results. The way the stormwater basin has been designed here is there are 18 infiltration chambers in front of the 4 townhouses and 6 behind the townhouses. So they're split into 2 systems. we got the soil test results for those, and the ones that have been designed for the front, those 18 chambers have infiltration results that are not what are considered ideal for infiltration, which means that that design won't work. So what typically gets done is you need minimum 1 inch per hour, and I think the results that came in were 0.2 to 0.6 inches per hour. So in that case, the applicant could replace the soil within the entire basin footprint in front of the house. This is just something that I did want to bring up, that if we were to stick to this design, a complete soil replacement of the entire basin in the front area would be needed, at least up to 8 feet below the bottom of the basin. I did have one question. I think there's a discrepancy in the plans regarding the height of the chambers and the actual inward that was noted on the plan. So I think that's something has to be verified. But once the bottom of the basin is verified, they'll have to replace the soil that's at least 8 feet beneath the bottom of the basin because no groundwater was encountered in the soil test. Other than that, regarding the driveway location, we have 24 foot, I think 24 feet is being proposed. However, I had a minor discussion with the attorney, and they are willing to reduce that to 20 feet if needed to maintain more green space. So that's a discussion that I'm sure the attorney could tell us more about.
Recommend that, or do you think a wider driveway is better?
So, right, typically for a two-way street, it's 24 feet is always recommended. But given that this is a very unique situation with a very limited number of parking spaces, I think 4 spaces are being proposed, we could leverage the unique situation and reduce it by 20 feet. The main reason why I say that is because fire trucks or garbage trucks or anything are not going to enter the site here. The garbage is getting hauled to the curb. That's what I heard tonight. Fire trucks will park on Humbert and will access the site. So it could, given that there are only 4 spaces within the site, we could reduce it a little bit, at least 22 feet to increase the green space if needed. It wouldn't be incorrect in terms of engineering design. However, the code recommends 24 feet. So that's a reason why the driveway has been proposed as 24 feet on the plans.
What else was there? The reduced lighting, you agree?
Lighting is, yeah, so given the fact that it's only that small, I do agree with the applicant's engineer that the lighting that's being proposed is beneficial to the current proposed use, because you don't want it to be overlit. You have residential areas around the site. So I don't have an objection to that. It was just a citation in the letter to make sure that it was brought up.
I have a question about the soil removal that you're suggesting. Is it either they have to replace the 8 feet of soil on the front and keep the same design, or go to a separate design that we haven't gotten to see, but that they'll agree to go along with whatever the township engineer advises?
We would agree to, again, if the board is inclined to approve it, a post-approval condition that it will be subject to the board engineer's approval.
All right. Otherwise, other than the front of the property, the drainage plan that they put forth will work in terms of the percolation tests and the things that
For the 6 chambers behind, yep, in the rear it does work.
in the front. So they'll either remove the soil and put in new soil, or they'll come up with a different scheme in the front and they'll go whatever is to your approval.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, so the engineers will take care of that. All right, I don't know what the board's pleasure is with the driveway width.
We were talking, we're talking a lot. I mean, you're saying 24, 22. I think 24 is a comfortable for people coming in and out.
Yes.
Yeah,
You're only gaining a foot on each side, so I'd rather see the 24.
And if there may be somebody coming in and out, that, like I said, with a narrow street,
Right.
they waiting in the street, there's nowhere to go, we'll leave it at 24.
Okay. I have a little question about that. I mean, for a homeowners association, would they be contracting probably snow removal and they
Yeah.
and come in with, you know, a small
Or something.
plow vehicle, and that would be better for that.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they're gonna take care of snow removal. Are there any other questions? Anybody in the audience? Do you want to sum up or, thank you.
Mr. Chairman, we appreciated the fact that you let us complete this
Yeah,
evening.
yeah, I know, folks, we told you we were gonna stop at
Right.
10. We'll get to you guys.
Okay. My only summary, Mr. Chairman, I think everybody covered it and your professionals covered it, is that there are no neighbors here today to object to this application. The variances that we require, the side yard setbacks, we have one side yard neighbor who is here, who we have worked with and obviously has not voiced an objection. So for the reasons that have been set forth, we ask that the application respectfully be approved with the variances that we have requested along with the application. Thank you.
I guess, I'll ask for a motion now. Who wants to do this one? Where's Terry, what is he?
Mr. Chairman, I believe a member of the public wants to speak.
Oh, you doing it?
I just wanted to say I don't object with the condition of the plan of the fencing.
Oh, yeah, I thought you said that before, okay. All right, I need a motion. Somebody. Anybody. Bueller?
Okay. Mr. Chairman,
Big.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the variance for, thank you. Let's start over again. Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to approve the variance to construct a 4-unit townhouse at 34 to 38 Humbert Street, block 6702, lot 10. Mr. Chairman, this application doesn't seem will have any substantial detriment to the neighborhood. Actually, I believe it will be an asset, an aesthetic improvement and asset, and fill the need with workforce housing. With this approval, there will be conditions, and I would like the board's help if I miss anything, so please speak up. As far as the lighting, as proposed is sufficient, so we don't need that as a condition. The fence will comply with the code. The neighbor came to speak and would like the 6-foot fence on the north side of that would be the garden apartment side. Another requirement would be a pre-construction meeting regarding traffic control to discuss deliveries and the need to be the least intrusive to the neighborhood while under construction. Another condition would be regarding the drainage plan. It must be approved by our town engineer and planners, is that correct?
Engineer.
Just the engineers. Are there any conditions that I'm missing?
I think you got them all.
I got them all.
Manual to be submitted.
Oh, yes, the HOA, that there will be an HOA and the HOA will be responsible for the snow removal and landscaping.
Yeah, so that'll be covered within the agreement of us.
And a manual and an agreement, okay.
Yeah, it'll be in the letter.
For these reasons and any others set forth by council.
Second.
Sorry, I didn't think we were going to do this tonight. So prepared.
Mark
Delitro?
Yes.
Trisha Darty?
Yes.
Yvette Wallace?
Yes.
Sean Gafone?
Mr. Chairman, I vote yes for the variance, but I recuse myself from the fence portion of the application.
Greg Dolby?
Yeah.
Daniel Tolby?
Yes.
Chairman Graziano?
Yes. Good luck. Thank you, everybody. Good luck. All right. Yeah, I'm Chris. Yes, you are. Thank you. Have a good night, everybody. Happy Thursday. Good. Yeah. Give us like a few seconds. The next one coming up is gonna be
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm thinking.
All right, that's at 380 Mount Vernon Street.
Okay.
Mount Vernon Street? All right, the secretary, letter of denial.
Regarding the violation for the patio, retaining wall, and decorative wall, 380 Mount Vernon Street, block lot 8005/26. Dear Mr. and Mrs. Hurley, your request at the above referenced premises to leave as erected an 8-foot in height decorative wall located in the rear yard and a patio installed on the side yard line of East Passaic Avenue as shown on the property survey dated January 30th, 2023 is denied for the following reason. This property is located in an R-1 district as shown on the Nutley zoning map. Chapter 700, Article 11, Section 700-71C of the Codes of Nutley states, a fence erected along the sidelines from the rear lot line of a main structure, but excluding an attached accessory deck or similar structure to the rear property line and along said property line and within such line shall not exceed 6 feet in height and shall not be of solid construction. A stockade fence is hereby deemed to be of solid construction. The constructed retaining wall in the rear yard is partially a retaining wall to the adjacent properties and also extends to be used as a privacy wall. Note, both neighbors have signed a consent form for solid construction. Chapter 700, Article 11, Section 700-67E3 of the Codes of Nutley states, decks and patios must meet to the following minimum setbacks of Table 1. Setback requirements, front yard, feet. I'm not seeing any numbers. Yeah, not permitted. Decks and patios, less than 30 inches in height, not permitted. Decks and patios greater than 30 inches in height, not permitted. Side yard. I'm sorry, I can't, the type is illegible.
Other is
Okay. Okay, thank you. Not permitted. Side yard, other feet, principal building setback. Decks and patios greater than 30 inches in height, principal building setback. Side yard feet. Decks and patios less than 30 inches, 3 feet, greater than 30 inches, principal building setback. Rear yard feet, 15 or greater or less than 30 inches in height. 24 feet for decks and patios greater than 30 inches.
Okay.
And it says the constructed patio at the side yard street requires a principal setback, which is 25 feet in the zone. Number two, the constructed patio at the rear, which was extended, requires a 3-foot side yard and a 15-foot rear yard that proposed installed to the rear and side yard lot line.
Thank you. Raise your right hand. You swear the testimony about the truth, the whole truth about the truth? You state your full name, spell your last name, and give the track. Is that on?
I think it might be.
It's on now. Araceli Hurley, last name Hurley. I'm at 380 Mount Vernon Street. So we had constructed that wall because mainly there was a retaining wall there about 3 to 4 feet high, I would say. It was damaged, so our insurance company asked us to get it fixed in order to keep our insurance. We did fix it, but since we thought it was a good idea to bring it up more because our neighbor's fence was also leaning into our yard. So they're happy with the fact that it's, reinforcing their fence, which they have like a vinyl fence on their side. It doesn't meet, it's not over their fence. Yes.
No, I wouldn't think. Okay. I did take pictures, so I'm gonna use them to see the side of the board, that's what it looks like underneath the side of the property. Can't see the wall.
No, you can't. Not even on the other home, which is along East Passaic, you can't see the wall either on that end.
Really? What is the smaller, patio?
So we had some doors there installed on the side. So that's just, an area for us to use as an outdoor area. Yes, additional seating area. I think this, yeah.
We've all seen this, we looked at it.
Mhm. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, in regards to 380 Mount Vernon Street, block 8005, lot 26. Hardship being it's corner property. The work that was completed, pavers and setbacks, really fine. Approve it to the plan and anything set forth by council. Tricia seconded. Yes.
All right, and the secretary, please call the board.
Mark Colicchio,
Yes.
Patricia Darty,
Yes.
Yvette Wallace, John Capone,
Yes.
Craig Tovey, Daniel Tovey, Chairman Graziano.
Yes.
Thank you. You have a good night.
Okay. Union Avenue. The secretary, please read the letter to that.
Regarding the driveway increase and front yard coverage for 3 Union Avenue, block lot 9407/12. Dear Mr. Dong and Ms. Tang, your request for a permit at the above referenced premises to widen the existing driveway to 16 feet, which reduces the front yard coverage as shown on the property survey prepared by Butler Surveying and Mapping, dated November 1st, 2016, is denied for the following reason. This property is located in an R-2 district as shown on the Nutley zoning map. Chapter 700, Article 8, Section 700-48 of the Codes of Nutley states, any lot containing a residence for 1 or 2 families shall have at least 60% of the required front yard and landscaping. This area shall not be covered with paving, walkways, or any other impervious surface. Landscaping may consist of grass, ground cover, shrubs, and other plant materials. The required landscaping is 60%. The proposed is 40%.
What's the lot line?
Thank you. The lot width is narrow, isn't it?
Oh, okay, so it's an undersized width.
Undersized width. All right, I need you to raise your right hand. Do you swear the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay, would you give us your full name, spell your last name, and your address?
My full name is Kevin Dong. Last name is Dong. Our address is 3 Union Avenue, Nutley, New Jersey.
First house over there. Okay, what would you like to tell us?
So the reason why my parents and I are here today is to request a variance. Our driveway is too narrow. It's only 10 feet. 10 feet. The width is only 10 feet. We would like to widen it to 16 feet. So the garage is occupied with my vehicle. My mom parks in the driveway. And since street parking is illegal from 2 a.m. to 6 a.m., we will get a ticket if my dad parks there. So the only alternative is to park 10 to 15 minutes away from the house, which is a 10 to 15 minute walk. So during rainy season or during the winter, especially right now, where the ground is slippery, visibility is low, and it'll be easier to catch a cold. It's inconvenient to park that far away from the house. So we request to have the driveway widened so it'll be easier to access the house, access the car, and leave the house.
Yeah, it's an impervious coverage situation. 16 feet. So what's your plan? To pull one car up and one car to the left a little bit because it's still gonna be tight.
So the thing is, our driveway, so from the driveway to the neighboring to neighbors, I believe is 18 feet. We're gonna move it to 16 so it's not touching them. It'll fit. We tried it. It'll fit. But it's
And you'll have 2 feet. You'll have 2 feet of grass.
Yes. We'll have 2 feet left, so we're not gonna affect the neighbors. And even it's still better than walking 10 to 15 minutes every single day.
No, and you know what else too? You're on Union Avenue.
Yes.
When you park 2 cars back to back and you gotta move one, you gotta back out into Union Avenue. So it's a tough move.
Also, too, you have a fire hydrant right in front of your driveway to the left, don't you?
Yes,
But
but
you can't park there at all.
so the thing is, yeah, we can. But the thing is, fire hydrant it's close to the neighbors rather than us.
Mhm.
So it shouldn't affect, like, if anything were to happen, it shouldn't affect the firefighters.
I don't know.
But it's just that, you know,
Yes,
there's
we're still
no
gonna take it-
parking.
yes,
There's
yes.
no parking.
All right. Does anybody else have any other questions? And I don't see anyone in the audience. So I'm going to ask for a motion here.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
uh, 3 Union Avenue, block 9407, lot 12. The hardship is an undersized width. And he'd like to widen the driveway to 16 foot, leaving 2 foot of grass on the left. I believe it's going to make it safer and yeah, no, I said at the beginning, hardship's narrow property. And anything else set forth by council.
Second. Would the secretary please call the board?
Mark Colicchio, Fisher Darty, Yvette Wallace, John Cafone.
Yeah.
Craig Tolby, Daniel Tolby,
Yes.
Chairman Graziano.
Yes,
Thank you, guys.
you got it.
Thank you for your patience.
Yeah, thank you. Sorry you had to wait so long, but
Required.
we're still here.
Okay. Other things to do.
Sorry, voice. Bad night. No, we're paying, tonight we're paying for going up for drinks in December. That's what it is. You told everybody, else, get away from us. That's what it is.
Everybody else.
Huh?
We have, minutes from December 15, 2025. There are very busy correction completion steps. Okay, all in favor? Aye. Aye. All, our bill, that's the all day. There are motion to approve that. Favor? Aye. And we have just one. And we're intending to say program with baby loss session. Everything has heard.
Motion to adjourn.
Okay. 17:06. Yeah.